is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Cohen heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Okay, moving in. Sets one on goal, he scores!
And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. And that's it back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from the Waranenko Sports Arena in Roselle, New Jersey, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of Jersey Bearcats Arena Football and the American Arena League 2 playoffs. Tonight, looking to advance to the AAL2 semifinals, the Jersey Bearcats host the Steel City Stampede in the opening round of the 2024 postseason. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and I'm joined on the call by my broadcast partner, Nicholas Bavona. And Nick, the Bearcats had secured this playoff spot entering last week's game against the Western Maryland Warriors, but with home field advantage on the line against the Warriors, the Bearcats took care of business with a big statement win.
Absolutely, Joe. The Bearcats, with a huge second half, were able to secure this home field advantage here for tonight's game versus the Steel City Stampede. And they did it in thanks in part to a huge defensive second half. They outscored the Western Maryland Warriors 25-0, all of those points coming in the fourth quarter after entering that fourth quarter with a 27-12 lead. Their defense forced turnovers that led to them not only sealing the game against the Warriors, but also leading them to securing this home field advantage for tonight's contest. They are surely hoping that they can carry over that defensive performance going into tonight's game against the Stampede as they look to move on to the playoffs.
Last week's game not only decided home field advantage in this game tonight, but it was also announced earlier this week that it was the final game in the history of the Western Maryland Warriors. We got a chance to cover the Warriors each of the last two seasons here on PDF, and during a time when the AAL2 was in its infancy, the Warriors made the trip for all of their out-of-state games and always played a full four quarters regardless of the score. That was no different last weekend. As for us here on PDF, for the final time this season, I'd like to officially welcome everyone in to the Brownstone pregame show. The Brownstone in Metuchen has sponsored our pregame show for the last two seasons, and tonight we have a packed playoff pregame here on the PDF Sports Network. And Nick, this is the fourth time that we've seen these two teams meet here on PDF, and if the past history between them is any indication, we should expect another exciting game here tonight.
And Joe, based off of what we've seen from these two teams in their prior encounters, we could be in for another wild finish here tonight. You look back at the three games that we have covered here on PDF between the two teams, they have left us with some very memorable moments. Game one led to a walk-off comfort-behind victory for the Stampede that left the Bearcats in shock after they had a 12-point lead with just under 40 seconds left remaining in that game. Game two would be, of course, last year's AAL2 championship game where we saw the Bearcats win that game in large part thanks to some late turnovers forced by the Bearcats defense against the Stampede. Also, thanks to some injuries, unfortunately, for the Stampede in that game. The Bearcats, with the victory, were crowned the 2023 AAL2 champions. And then it would lead to our third matchup, which we covered earlier on this season here on PDF. And in that game, we saw some spectacular catches made to preserve drives, as well as the defenses once again playing a huge role in the outcome of that game. We also saw the Bearcats make a quarterback change, and Khalil Trotman again, the star, did throw a pick six that gave the Stampede a late lead in that one, but will come back on the next drive, get the game-winning touchdown to secure the win for the Bearcats. And Joe, that game-winning drive would help the Bearcats avoid an 0-2 start to this season.
Nick, I think it's fair to say this is one of the premier long-term rivalries that we have covered during our 2 years on PDF. And obviously, before we dive deeper into tonight's game, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights from the 3 meetings that we've covered between these two teams. We start back in week 1 of the 2023 season, and I think the second half of that game left us with enough highlights for an entire segment. As you'll see, Pete Savrides opens our highlight package with a touchdown right here as Stephen Colon airs it out down the field. This, at the time, gave the Bearcats a 2-possession lead.
And then what you see right here, Stephen Colon throws a long touchdown pass to Dante Owens, extending the Bearcats' lead to 32-12.
Here you'll get a look at that touchdown pass to Owens. 2 plays, 2 touchdowns for the Bearcats to open up the second half in that game. You can't do any better than that. But here, the Bearcats' defense disrupting things at the line of scrimmage, force a fumble. The Stampede did get back on top of that one. They wouldn't be so lucky later.
Yeah, we saw a couple times in this game where the Stampede had some issues where it comes to sacks and leading fumbles. We saw right there a sack for the Bearcats defense, Javon Young with that sack.
And here you'll see another fumbled snap by the Stampede. That was a recurring theme throughout that game. Turnovers definitely going to be something these two teams will look to avoid tonight. That time the Bearcats recover.
And this time right here, we would see the Bearcats recover on this one. And that would be another situation where, unfortunately for the Stampede, early on in that game, that's where it looked like the game was getting away from them.
Well, it looked like the Bearcats had it well in hand, but the comeback begins late in the final quarter with under 6 minutes to go. Stampede touchdown pass. That got the comeback in motion.
And a late flag on that one as well, but the Stampede were very happy to get that touchdown, keep the game alive. We'll see right here, though, 4th and 20, a dropped pass from Dante Owens on what would have been a game-clinching touchdown for the Bearcats to give them the win.
That one really stung for Jersey, but they still had a nice cushion. As you'll see here, Nate Beamer catches the first of 2 late touchdowns for him in this game. That one made it a 1-score game, and it looked like the Bearcats still had things well in hand with under a minute to go, but unfortunately it was not to be.
And a toss right there to the left side, leading to that fumble recovery for the Stampede right there, giving them the opportunity with 11 seconds left in the game to try to drive down the field and get the game-winning touchdown.
That fumble really hurt as the Stampede then came out on offense and immediately completed a pass out to nearly midfield. That got what would ultimately be a game-winning drive started, and Nick, somehow they managed to fit in 2 more plays.
And we see right here, this play right here, quick pass to the left side of the field, and the tackle was made with just 1 second or maybe even under 1 second left in the game, giving the Stampede one final play to try to walk it off with a win.
It is officially 1 second on the clock ahead of our final play of the game, and we've seen this highlight so many times. Unfortunately, you still can't see the catch. That hasn't changed, but we've reoriented ourselves to make sure that never happens again. The Bearcats hope to never see anything like that again, especially here on their home turf in the postseason as Beamer catches the game-winning touchdown, and the Stampede go on to steal one from the Bearcats by a final score of 34-32. But Nick, we've covered only 2 Bearcats losses in 2 seasons here on PDF, and that was one of them. However, the banner that hangs at midfield here at Waranenko reflects the team's 2023 league championship win that came at the expense of the Steel City Stampede. Let's take a look back at some of the top plays from that matchup.
And the first highlight you're going to see right here, Nasir Adams gets the screen pass for the right side, gets a couple broken tackles, and just gets into the end zone barely to put the Bearcats on the board first.
Adams gets on the board via reception to start things, and we've seen him get it done on the ground and through the air. Here, 4th and goal, Stephen Colon buying time, and at the last possible moment, he finds Dante Owens in the back of the end zone through the laggy internet. We hope that issue has been solved tonight. No indication of any issues yet.
We'll have to see if that does be the case, but Sadiq Nathaniel, we saw a couple times in this game, Joe. First of many interceptions he would force, a name that's very familiar here on the PDF Sports Network.
No question about it, Nick. We've seen plenty of Sadiq, and he came up big with that turnover. However, the Stampede get on the board for the first time via special teams, and we say it time and time again, there is always one huge special teams play somewhere over the course of a game.
And the good thing for the Bearcats after that, that kickoff return, they got an interception, the 2-point try. Speaking of interceptions, they get one right there, keeps it 13-6.
And here you'll see the defensive line getting on the action. Joey Ramirez with the sack. That defensive front for the Bearcats remains intact from last year. That's a unit that has wreaked havoc on the Stampede.
They're hoping it can continue tonight against the Stampede, but you'll see right here, Sadiq Nathaniel once again, Joe, gets an interception and a very long run all the way to the house for the pick 6 to extend the Bearcats' lead to 20-6.
And that really set the tone in the second half of that championship matchup last year. The Bearcats jumped out to a 2-score lead once again with that pick 6, and from there they were able to keep the Stampede at arm's length. Steel City had a really tough time getting back to within one score. After that, though, they did so again right here.
Yeah, you see right there, Stewart throws a touchdown, gets a touchdown pass from Walton, makes it 20-12 at that point, so the Stampede still are alive in this contest.
But Stephen Colon finding his favorite target, Kyle Ward, corner of the end zone. The Stampede answer right back on the ground.
Yeah, we saw Walton get a quarterback keeper, makes it 26-18. But after that happened, Joe, on the 2-point try, he does get injured in that game, leading to a quarterback change for the Stampede the rest of the way.
Head coach Matt Santiago came in to play quarterback after that. He inherited a 2-possession deficit as Adams scores a rushing touchdown to make it a 16-point game at the time, and here you'll see a game clincher.
Yeah, Dante Owens, the favorite target you mentioned from Stephen Colon, gets the game-clinching touchdown, gives the Bearcats a 39-18 lead. Comfortable cushion for them to win that game and win the AAL2 championship from last season.
That banner hangs at midfield. If we can get a quick look at it, you can see it on the opposite sideline from us. It's hanging out right behind our logos there, but the Bearcats championship banner right at midfield here at the Waranenko Sports Arena. And Nick, before we take a look back at the game these two teams played in week 2 of this season, it's impossible not to talk about just how different these teams look compared to last year. A lot of the key playmakers from those games we covered last season are injured or no longer with their respective team, but that didn't stop these two sides from putting on a show back on April 27th.
Absolutely, Joe. As I mentioned earlier on, these two teams went back and forth in that game back on April 27th. We saw Juju Jordan from the Stampede make 2 incredible 4th down catches that kept the Stampede offense on the field, and that would be their 2 offensive touchdowns in that game. I mentioned as well we saw a quarterback change from the Bearcats as we saw Khalil Trautman come in midway point in the game. Trautman would deliver the game-winning drive for the Bearcats to give them that late victory over the Stampede. If what we saw in that game carries over for tonight's contest, this game could come down to the wire once again and could ultimately leave one team with either elaboration as they move on into the semifinals, or one team will be going home in heartbreak as they are eliminated from postseason competition.
Our first game of the season saw the Bearcats pushed to the limit by this Stampede team and brought Jersey to the brink of an 0-2 start. As you mentioned earlier, Nick, had Jersey not found a way to win that game, this game would have been hosted by Steel City, and as we know, when 2 evenly matched teams meet, home field advantage can often be the deciding factor, especially in the postseason.
Yes, Joe, and we see as when it comes down to 2 evenly matched teams, you often see the game decided by realistically one key play that goes a long way in the outcome of the game. In regards to the home field advantage, it plays a huge factor into how these teams respond to the adversity. On the home side, it's basically having that 12th man out there for your defense to try to make sure that they force a turnover or maybe some defensive pressure. For the visiting side, it's basically forcing you to make sure that you get the right play calls and make the right adjustments as the game goes along. And because of that, most of the time, it's very loud to hear that happening due in large part to how the home crowd's reacting. Now, Joe, I got my first hand of that last week as how loud this crowd could be just during a regular season game. I'm sure they're going to be even louder tonight with a semifinal berth on the line.
Well, speaking about the volume level in here last week, Nick, in order to hear myself and Nick Durst over the speakers that were right in front of us, we had to crank the audio on our mixer to the max. The audio was coming through at peak levels during last week's broadcast. That was a necessity. The speakers were right in front of us as the players were introduced, and of course the music being played for the Lady Bearcats as well. Those speakers were all right on top of us. It was very, very loud in here last week. We expect more of the same here tonight, Nick. But before we head down to field level to speak with Bearcats head coach A.J. Roquet ahead of tonight's game, let's take a look at the full playoff bracket, including both the North and South divisions of the AAL2. And as you can see on the side of the North, the Wheeling Miners have already punched their ticket to the AAL2 semifinals. As for the Waco Tornadoes and Peach State Cats on the south side of the bracket, they will meet next week to determine who will represent that division in the AAL2 championship. For the Bearcats and Stampede, they will battle tonight for the right to move on and face the Miners next week in West Virginia.
And Joe, the Wheeling Miners have been dominant all season long here in the AAL2 standings, and look no further than what they did in their last game. The Miners defeating the Maryland Eagles 71-3 in that contest. They have been a juggernaut all year, and who knows what's going to happen next week in terms of who they play, but they do know they will have a tough test next week regardless of who they will play. They're either going to be playing the runner-ups in the Stampede of the championship game or the 2023 champions himself in the Jersey Bearcats. Joe, you know the Bearcats would love another shot at the Wheeling Miners as well, though, this season. We saw here on PDF the last time we covered those two teams. A 25-20 win for the Miners. A very heartbreaking loss for the Bearcats. You know that's definitely going to be on their mind, and maybe that could provide some extra motivation for them here tonight to try to get the win and move on to next week. But as you and I both know, they cannot afford to look ahead going into that matchup next week. They got to get the job done here tonight.
No question about it, Nick. You can't look ahead, and you saw on your screen what will be on the line when the two teams, one representing the North, one representing the South, meet in the AAL2 Championship Bowl, number 2. Last year, of course, the inaugural AAL2 championship game. So the AAL2 playoffs 2024 are just minutes away, but before the start of tonight's game, we will head down to field level for a conversation with Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque. Before kickoff, we'll also take a look back at Week 1's matchup between the Bearcats and Stampede, so don't go anywhere. Plenty more to come on the Brownstone pregame show following a word from our sponsors.
Radel Volkswagen of Linden is your official sponsor of Bearcats football. Visit our showroom today for great deals and tell them the Bearcats sent you. Radel VW of Linden. Visit us today.
Today's Bearcats broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Applebee's of Edison, located at 1045 US Highway 1 in Edison. Stop in after the game for great deals and drink specials. And also by J&J Snack Foods, located on 350 Fellowship Road in Mount Laurel. Call us toll-free at 800-486-9533. Thank you, Applebee's and J&J Snack Foods, for supporting Bearcats football.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
The Omega Psi Phi fraternity was founded on November 17, 1911, on the campus of Howard University. Its founders are Dr. Oscar James Cooper, Professor Frank Charles Coleman, Bishop Edgar Amos Love, and Dr. Ernest Everett Just. Its cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift are the key principles which cement this fraternity to where we are today. Gamma Nu Nu chapter of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated was chartered on July 11, 2019, and are located on the Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in Columbus, New Jersey. Brothers of like-minded ideas come together from all walks of life and careers, make up and continue to build on the very same ideals to this very day, just as the founders of this great fraternity have done. For more information on Gamma Nu Nu, please visit us on Facebook, Gamma Nu Nu, the Bridge Builder Qs, and Instagram, #JBMDLQUES.
KKT InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star just like the Bearcats.
Welcome back inside the Warenenko Sports Arena here in Roselle, New Jersey, as we continue the Brownstone pregame show ahead of tonight's AAL2 playoff matchup between the Jersey Bearcats and the Steel City Stampede. This is Nicholas Pavona with you from the commentary desk, but at this time we'll throw it down to field level, as my broadcast partner Joe Foreman is going to be joined by Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque.
I'm down on field level with Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque. And A.J., last week against the Warriors, that game a bit close heading into the fourth quarter, but then your team did what you expected to do going in, a dominant effort in quarter number 4. How did things turn around?
Yeah, getting comfortable. It's not playing down to our team's, the other team's level, and playing where we expect to be.
Obviously, a lot of changes to this offense since week 1. You're the play caller. How are you feeling about how the offense has progressed since all of those changes took place early in the season?
Yeah, we've overcome them. Our quarterback play has got, a lot better. We brought in some guys to help him out, make him get more comfortable. And I think where we left off last game, if we can carry that over to this game, I think we're in a really good spot.
A lot of challenges this team has been forced to overcome this year. What's been the biggest challenge this team has overcome on the way to the postseason?
Overcoming Steph. Losing him early was tough. It was really tough on the team. And, finding our way back from that to now is, I think we've come a long way, and we're happy where we're at right now.
All right, we ended on a non-PG note last week. What was your message to the team in the locker room ahead of this game?
Playoffs, and it's win or go home. And, there's places we want to get to, and that's Wheeling, next week, June 22nd. We've been waiting for that, and that's where we want to be.
Do or die, win or go home tonight in the playoffs. Bearcats head coach A.J. Roque, thanks for joining us. Nick, back up to you.
Thank you, Joe. And A.J. Roque, of course, is looking forward to this game tonight, trying to make sure that his team gets the win and moves on to West Virginia next week for a semifinal matchup with the Wheeling Miners. But as Joe makes his way back from field level, we will take a break here on the Brownstow pregame show. As when we come back from commercial break, we'll get you very closer to kickoff for tonight's AAL2 playoff matchup, a rematch of last year's championship game between the Steel City Stampede and the Jersey Bearcats.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email daveriemann@rcn.com.
Today's game is being brought to you by Meineke Auto Center. Meineke is your choice for quality, reliable service at great rates all year long. Visit us at 495 East St. George Avenue in Roselle, New Jersey, or call 908-986-3932 to schedule your service today.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day, and ticket information, please contact us at jerseybearcatsarenafootball@gmail.com.
Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports brings fans an interactive experience through watch-alongs, streaming, video presentation, and game knowledge. Coming from the mind of Coach Ed Gladney, fans gain an expanded understanding of sports entertainment from over 40 years of coaching experience. Coach Ed taps into his experiences from the different levels of sports he has coached, as he is able to introduce fans to sports from a coaching perspective.
Bella Pianto Orthopedics, providing care with compassion and integrity for orthopedic disorders and injuries. We also offer concussion support for coaches, schools, and athletes, with 24-hour diagnostic and rehabilitation management for injured athletes. We are the proud team physicians for your New Jersey Bearcats. Please visit our comprehensive website or call us at 201-490-4333.
Welcome back to the Brownstone pregame show as we are closing in on kickoff between the Jersey Bearcats and the Steel City Stampede in this 2024 AAL2 opening round playoff matchup. And Nick, once the PA equipment rolled in, we started to have internet issues. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with our internet problems, but we have been having internet issues ever since the music started. We are aware of the connection issues that may be affecting the broadcast. This game will be uploaded in its entirety, lag-free, as soon as possible following the conclusion of the game. As fast as YouTube will allow us to upload the game lag-free, we will do so. We thank everyone who chooses to stay with us the rest of the evening anyway. We're doing everything we can to combat the issues with our internet right now. But earlier, we took a look back at the two meetings between these two teams during the 2023 season. Now, we'll take a look back to the regular season meeting earlier this year, the first game we covered here on PDF.
Back at that highlights from that game earlier on. We'll see early in this game, Jerry Ward, read option play, gave us a touchdown, and now there, the sack for the Bearcats.
Tyreek Noble with a strip sack. As you'll see here, it is a Juju Jordan jump ball on 4th and 1. We were calling him jump ball Juju Jordan, Nick. He had some big catches.
Yeah, he definitely deserved that too in that game, but was it Delonte Lewis with the touchdown run there, extending the Bearcats' lead in this game. Brendan Redford after that also would get a touchdown as that Lewis run would extend the drive. Lewis would get the touchdown for the Stampede. Redford gets the touchdown, put the Bearcats on top. And then we see right here, the Stampede would answer with a touchdown to make it 14-12.
And then it was on defense that the Stampede would strike again. Following the Lewis touchdown run, his second of the game, Peterson up Holland with a pick six, gave the Stampede the lead. That lead was short-lived.
We saw Kyle Ward right there gets the touchdown to extend that Bearcats lead. They really needed it because the Stampede was starting to make it very interesting late in this fourth quarter.
And here, game-clinching INT, Devontae LeGrand would put this one out of reach. The Bearcats were able to run out the clock and escape with a win. That was the first game we covered here on PDF. That game was played in week 2. It was week 1 for us, week 2 in the AAL2 season. I mistakenly said week 1 earlier, but nonetheless, it was a very entertaining game, and we touched on it earlier, Nick. These two teams look very different from last season, and even a bit different from what we saw in week 2. What stands out to you the most from this season compared to what we saw last year?
Well, I think, Joe, from what we've seen from these two teams compared to what we saw last season is both teams' defenses are crucial reasons as to how their games will finish. They say it a lot for football, and I am of the agreement that this is the case. Defense wins championships, and the Bearcats certainly can speak to that notion based on what they did last season in the championship game win over the Stampede. We saw earlier this season how the defense also can play a huge factor in the outcome of the game as the Bearcats forced those late turnovers to hold up the Stampede from winning that game. For these two teams as well tonight, their opponent next week at the Wheeling Myers have been unbelievable this season in terms of their defense as well as their offense. So whoever wins this game tonight, Joe, will still have a quick turnaround going into next week. They're going to have to prepare both sides of the football for their encounter with the Wheeling Myers in order to move on to the championship game.
Nick, that game against the Stampede that we just looked at came all the way back in week 2. We were just here at Waranenko last weekend giving you your first in-person look at this Jersey Bearcats team. What did you see in terms of progression from this team based upon what we saw in those highlights from the week 1 game, and what needs to be cleaned up entering tonight's playoff matchup?
Well, Joe, based off of what I saw last week from the Bearcats, that they will have to hope to carry over in tonight's matchup is the defense that I mentioned earlier has to keep playing the way they have been playing this season. They shut out the Warriors in that second half due in large part to their defense forcing pressure on the Warriors quarterback, which led to some interceptions along the way. On the offensive side of the ball for the Bearcats, they had some early mistakes in the first half for their offense and looking to clean up any of those mistakes that they made earlier on to make sure that they not give the Stampede a chance to win this game here tonight. And we have also seen, Joe, in the 2 of the 3 matches between the two teams, the Bearcats in one game had that late turnover that cost them the game, and in the other matchup we just saw a few minutes ago, they almost had another turnover late in that game. Thankfully, they were able to recover it and hold on to the football and win the game. So for the Bearcats, they need to ensure that they protect the football on the offensive side of the ball if they want to move on to the playoffs.
These two teams have yet to disappoint in 3 games we've covered here on PDF. The Jersey Bearcats take on the Steel City Stampede with a trip to the AAL2 semifinals on the line. Kickoff on the other side of one final break.
Bearcats fans, stay tuned just prior to kickoff as the Jersey Bearcats' own Shea Davis will sing tonight's national anthem. Coming up at the conclusion of the Brownstone pregame show right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Zolnir Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL2 champion Jersey Bearcats. Zolnir combines class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See our full lineup today, only at Zolnir, official partner of the Jersey Bearcats.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Kessler Rehabilitation Center are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at Kessler-PT.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Bearcats fans, it's not too early to prepare for 2025. The Bearcats and the AAL2 are looking for partnerships and sponsors in 2025 as we grow our organization, team, and community reach. Reach out to us to get on board, inquire about team sponsorship or expansion, internship opportunities, and of course, 2025 season tickets. Reach out at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com or visit AmericanArenaLeague.com. Join our winning team and let's tackle the 2025 season.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
And welcome back to coverage of the American Arena League 2 playoffs here on the PDF Sports Network. Tonight, the Jersey Bearcats host the Steel City Stampede in the opening round of the 2024 AAL2 postseason. Once again, my name is Joe Foreman alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. And Nick, we were scheduled for a 6 p.m. start tonight. You and I arrived here at our normally scheduled time of about 4 o'clock, and the body's now just beginning to file into the stands, but things picked up a bit late, closer to game time, so it looks like kickoff is going to take place with a brief delay of about 5 to 10 minutes. It's about 6:05 right now, and our camera operator, Pat Gialorenzo, is down on the field. He is waiting outside the tunnel for the starters to be introduced. And, of course, as we've done all season long, we bring you down to field level to get a look at the players making their way out through the tunnel. They'll be greeted by the Lady Bearcats, who, of course, will perform ahead of kickoff as well. So plenty more to come ahead of tonight's game. Once again, we are aware that we are currently dealing with some internet issues. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that here at Waranenko. Once again, our audio should be good throughout the night. Video of the game lag-free will be uploaded following the game's conclusion. Video will be lag-free in its entirety. And Nick, we've said just about all there is to say about this matchup here tonight, but let's take a look back at the Bearcats' schedule ahead of starting lineups, though that may have to wait, Nick. It looks like it is time to meet the starters, or perhaps instead it is time for somebody to move their car, as that was the announcement coming over PA. So Tyler Clark, our engineer tonight. Tyler, why don't you pull up the Bearcats' schedule from last year? It's here in our graphics, so you'll find that, and we'll take a look back at the journey to the postseason for the Jersey Bearcats. And that journey, of course, began all the way back in Week 1. Now, this schedule was pulled from last week. This is additional information. Unfortunately, I didn't update last week's final score, but it was a Bearcats victory last week over the Maryland Warriors. That game was here on PDF, so technically, Nick, that schedule is accurate. The game did air.
We went through the highlights as well, so I think we pretty much have gathered enough information about last week's contest.
Well, we didn't pull the highlights from last week's game.
Oh, right.
As of yet,
right.
we took a look back at the highlights from the earlier game this season between the Bearcats and the Stampede. But, Nick, you see it there. The Bearcats dropped 2 games against the Wheeling Miners. Obviously, Jersey has beaten the Stampede team now 2 out of 3 games that they've played, the big one in the championship. Jersey expects to be playing in Wheeling next weekend. What do they have to do to make sure that happens?
I think it's going to come down to, as I mentioned a bunch of times already here today, their defense has been a huge reason why they're in this spot here today. You have talked to A.J. Roque and a bunch of the other coaches here at the Bearcats, and they always strive on how this defense makes sure that they are prepped and ready for each and every single game they play this season, and, of course, in the postseason. We saw in that championship game earlier on, their defense forced a couple interceptions. Sadiq Nathaniel was a huge part in that win for Jersey to get the championship win. And we saw the Stampede early on in the game we had early in the season. They were looking to be on top and have a chance to win that game. Apollon gets the interception, Apollon gets the interception to get the Stampede the late lead. But thankfully for the Bearcats, their offense got that late touchdown for the win. So it's really going to come down to which defense comes out on top in this game. As I mentioned earlier, defense wins championships, and the Bearcats certainly spoke to that notion last season with that win.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the defenses, Nick. We've talked about it a lot this year. The Bearcats defense has had to carry a big burden this year with all the changes on the offensive side. But let's shift our focus over to the Stampede defense and what they did in that meeting earlier this season. Peterson Apollon with the 3 interceptions, 1 going for a touchdown, as it looks like the Bearcats starters are making their way onto the field. So in games past, we've seen the starters introduced individually. I have a feeling that with kickoff coming a bit later than we expected, the players have all been welcomed out together ahead of the national anthem tonight. Now, all season long, Shea Davis has done a great job singing the national anthem. He did so well that he got flagged for copyright. He was so good.
Was that actually what it was?
That actually happened this year. He was so good that he got flagged for being a copyright over somebody else's national anthem. But that is indeed an original rendition of the anthem by Shea Davis, who has done a great job all year. And now we'll get a chance to see Shea Davis sing the national anthem. We'll see if we get that view down from field level. And it appears not, as Pat is making his way back up to the platform. We will stay right here as Shea Davis performs the national anthem. And then on the other side of that, we have kickoff between the Bearcats and the Stampede. Tremendous rendition of the national anthem, but Nick, that was not Shea Davis. We had to
a little bit of a curveball.
Yeah, we had to get our audio set up a bit further down as the anthem was performed from all the way in the corner, but we brought you the latter half of the national anthem as it was performed down on field level. Unfortunately, they did not give us the name of the anthem singer. Nonetheless, a job very well done ahead of tonight's game in performing the national anthem. But we have one more performance before kickoff as the Lady Bearcats take the field, and they will perform following the coin toss if what we've seen so far this season ahead of games is any indication. But we'll get a tight look at the coin toss and see if we can pick anything up on our camera feed. Again, no microphones down on field level for Nick and I to discern exactly what's being said, but we'll see if we can pick up some body language and perhaps some signals regarding who will be kicking, who will be receiving. And Nick, in terms of strategy, what do you look to do? You've seen these two teams play already this season. They are very familiar with one another. Do you want the football, or do you want your defense to try and make a statement with a stop on the opening drive?
I usually like to defer to the second half. I'm usually that type of, even if I'm playing a game of Madden, I always like to go into the second half with my offense back on the field. So I think when you look at how we mentioned their defenses a lot for these two teams, they're obviously going to want to set the tone in this game with their defensive mentality. So if I were one of the two teams personally, I would probably defer to the second half and see how this game goes along. But maybe they'll throw a curveball like we have for the national anthem. We'll see. Maybe they go on offense first.
Well, we have an honorary fifth member to the crew standing directly to our right. Bearcats quarterback Stephen Colon up here in the commentary booth with us. Perhaps we'll get a chance to hear from him a bit later in the evening outside of the game, but we'll see if that opportunity presents itself later tonight as we are just about set for kickoff, and we have to see whether or not the Lady Bearcats will be performing ahead of kickoff tonight. But at this time, before a potential Lady Bearcats performance, we'd like to let you know that as we get set for opening kickoff, today's first quarter is brought to you by Zolnier Championship Rings, the official championship ring providers of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. The Bearcats got theirs. Who will get them in 2024? No matter who wins the AAL2 this year, Zolnier will provide excellent designs and the luxury that comes with being a champion. Zolnier Championship Rings, official sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats. And Nick, at this time, the Lady Bearcats will welcome us to the AAL2 playoffs. You just saw the Lady Bearcats performing ahead of kickoff tonight. And that gets us set for the start of the first quarter. And Nick, I remark every time about how similar the colorways for these two teams are, but that is the Stampede lined up to kick off on the left side of your screen. The Bearcats will receive the opening kickoff, a chance for the Jersey offense to strike early and make a statement, as we've seen them do so many times before.
We see a lot of this season with the Bearcats offense capitalizing on mistakes on the defensive side. So we'll see if they can do it here today. They got the football first, as the Stampede will send their defense out to start this game, try to set the tone in this one.
And we are underway in the 2024 AAL2 playoffs as that kick skips all the way toward the glass, and nearly losing his footing on that return was number 3, Tyler Cooperwood, wide receiver for the Jersey offense. And Cooperwood was eventually stopped and touched down just shy of the 15-yard line, and that will bring the Bearcats offense onto the field, led by Khalil Trotman under center.
And Trotman, we mentioned earlier on this season, subbed in for the Bearcats early on. I almost said Dolphins for some reason, Joe. I'm not sure why, but
that's okay.
He subbed in for the Bearcats earlier on in the season and really left an impact. He subbed in this game against the Stampede, got the Bearcats the late touchdown for that 21-18 win. As Joe, you just missed him. One of the Stampede players just got hit in the head with a football.
I'm just glad it wasn't me, Nick.
No.
You know, we've had some footballs come pretty close up here. Every once in a while, when they try and take a football off the field, you'll see them travel up toward the booth. So the Bearcats offense out on the field. 3 receivers to the left of Trotman in the shotgun. Motion man was Cooperwood. Trotman looking to his left and completes to Kyle Ward, who brought it in right along the boards, and it's a nice gain for the Bearcats to open up the game.
A good awareness from Kyle Ward to see where the sidelines were on that one, as he had to just make a quick adjustment to see where the sidelines were. Stopped, made the catch, and a good throw from Trotman to get Jersey an early first down.
That was a fairly tight window along the sideline. A great ball there from Khalil Trotman. And Bearcats offense now will snap it from the Stampede 19-yard line. Trotman sends a man in motion pre-snap once again and hands off. This is David Ross. And Ross is brought down just past the line of scrimmage. He may have picked up a yard.
Flag on the field as well. Might have been early motion. Does look like maybe they're going to pick up the flag, so the flag will be picked up, Joe. No flag on the play. It'll be second down.
All right, flag picked up. Second down and about 9. So 2nd and 9. Bearcats will snap it from the Stampede 18-yard line. Get a quick look at the defensive front for Steel City here. Toby Onyechi on the defensive line. He is the defensive end nearest to the bottom of your screen. Do have some players that are on the field that don't match the numbers on the rosters. We'll do our best with that as Trotman throws over the middle, complete to Cooperwood. He spins back toward the line of scrimmage and is tackled at the Stampede 13-yard line.
Another flag on the field. It's going to go, might be a false start, maybe. Maybe a legal formation.
Zay Stewart and Toby Onyechi in on that tackle for Steel City. And that's going to be a false start against the Bearcats. Zay Stewart, the end opposite of Toby Onyechi. Stewart wears number 12. Bearcats backed up to the Steel City 23-yard line. And we've seen some good balance from this Bearcats offense early in games. They become, I would say, a bit trending more toward pass-heavy later in games. But early in games, they've looked to come out and establish the run, and that only helps you in the passing game.
Think about it with the running clock as well in Arena. That plays a big factor with the running clock, trying to run the football and establish that run game. It's another flag on the field.
And Trotman throws into a vacant area deep in the secondary. He had 2 receivers in the area, one of them Brandon Renford. He wears number 1, the other Kyle Ward. He wears number 6.
Third flag already of this first drive we've seen. And it's going to be on the Stampede defense.
Self-inflicted wounds always hurt, Nick, and you hate to see that early in games, but that gives you the opportunity to get it sorted out as the night progresses. And very often you see halftime adjustments as they'll move the ball up here. So that flag went the other way, as this next snap will take place from the 18-yard line. And Nick, that's exactly where Ross was tackled on the first down run just a few moments ago.
Yeah, it looked like there was a neutral zone infraction on the Stampede defense on that previous play, giving the Bearcats the 5 yards they just lost after their previous penalty. So once again, it'll be 2nd and 9 for Jersey.
Trotman looking to his left, throws into heavy traffic, and that could have been intercepted. The ball a bit high over the head of the intended target, Cooperwood, but in there on the coverage was Jelante Haynes, and Haynes had a big opportunity there, Nick.
Yeah, double covered right there for the Bearcats, and a great opportunity for the Stampede early on to get that interception. And this is why the Stampede are very confident kicking the ball away to start off this game. They trust their defense enough to get an early stop. 3rd down now here for the Bearcats. 3rd and pretty much long, 3rd and 9 to be exact, upcoming for Jersey. So we'll see what they have dialed up here to try to keep the drive going.
I think the good news for Jersey, Nick, is you're in that area of the field where the ceiling is not a factor. You have 2 downs to get this. And we've seen down around the goal line, Jersey likes their screen passes. We haven't seen that nearly as much.
So it looks like maybe we have an injury timeout on the field.
And that is indeed an official timeout for the injured player. It looks like
that might be Elijah McKenzie.
Yeah, it looks like a 2 is the second number. I believe that is indeed number 52, Elijah McKenzie, offensive lineman for the Bearcats.
I'm wondering, Joe, maybe if this has to do something with the heat. It is hot in here, so maybe that could be playing a factor. We'll need to get some water to try to make sure he can cool down and get back onto the field.
And Nick, I think you hit the nail on the head. The first thing they did when they met McKenzie out on the field was greet him with the water bottle, so hopefully he's okay and can return after hydrating a bit. He will have to come out for one play. And it looks like the replacement might have been Christopher Coles off the bench. So he may have been out on the field already. I think there is another offensive lineman standing near the bench as well. That's Zahir Rittman. Rittman also making his way out onto the field. So Coles, Rittman, and I believe that's big number 99, Jaleel Taylor, out there as well. That makes up the offensive line for Jersey here. Very often, the offensive line, the unsung heroes of a game. We know defensive lines can wreak havoc, but that can only happen if you don't block.
And we'll see what Trotman does here. Maybe look to see Kyle Ward can make a catch on third down.
Renford was the motion man. Trotman looks his way, and he is intercepted. This time Haynes has it. He cuts up the field, is out across midfield, is not down yet, and is finally stood up out across the 25-yard line.
That was a great read by Haynes right there, Joe. Looked like the Bearcats had a walk-in touchdown, but at the very last second, Haynes got in there, made the catch, and still didn't get brought down after the whistle was blown. He still kept running into the end zone, but he does get the interception. Stampede defense makes a strong start in this game, and now they bring their offense out of the field.
Well, Trotman threw a very dangerous pass just a couple of plays ago, but on that particular play, initially, it looked like he had the opening. The ball maybe came out just a bit late, but you said it, Nick. Haynes with a great play in the secondary to jump that route. We get a second look here on replay. Nick, it looked like Haynes was eyeballing it all the way.
He played incognito on that play. I don't think Trotman saw him at all when he threw that ball. And Haynes made a great jump on the play and avoided that touchdown for the Bearcats to start this game. So the Stampede get their early statement on defense. Now let's see what they do on offense. But, Joe, with under 8 minutes left, we have our first media timeout.
All right, so let's see what our media timeout contest will be. And it looks like the sack race, Nick. Now, I do this every week. I'm going to do it again. Strategy, advantages, disadvantages in the sack race. What do you have to add to that conversation?
I don't think I have. I don't think I can really add much into it. I don't think I've ever done a sack race, and I think if I did, I would probably fall right front of my face. So good luck to the contestants on winning this one.
Well, I don't think I would do too well, though. I might be at that perfect height where I can still reach the sack while standing upright. It really depends. If you're too tall and your arms aren't reaching the sack and you're hunched over, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That makes it tough. However, you do get the length of stride when you're a bit taller. Tyler is loving this conversation. He looks eager to add to it. Of course, Tyler Clark, our engineer tonight, Pat G. Lorenzo on camera. And how about the jumper or the racer? I would call that lane 3, working from the bottom of your screen up, but that wasn't close, Nick. How about the technique?
He had the great technique on that one, and he got a very early jump start. I don't know, maybe he went just a second too early, but who knows. Regardless, congratulations on that win, and I guess, Joe, if you really want any tips on how to win these races, we'll have to ask him how to do it.
That was a job well done. The Bearcats offense turns the ball over on their opening drive. And Nick, we said it right ahead of kickoff, and I was glad you brought it up. The defenses for these two teams definitely going to be a focal point in this game. The Stampede defense did enough to keep them in the game when these two teams met earlier in the season. It was the Bearcats defense that stood strong, making the final stop in that game. And early in this game, it is the Stampede defense forcing the early turnover. The defense is going to be a story, no question here today.
And now it's for the Stampede. Can they capitalize on that turnover? They want to make sure they can do so and put an early punch point in this game to give the Stampede an early lead.
First down handoff goes to Keem Stewart. And Stewart is inside the Bearcats' 20-yard line, down at about the 18. Give him the 17.
And you look at how the size of Stewart, he's basically playing that halfback / fullback type of role where he can still run down the field, but will definitely truck you along the way if you're trying to make a tackle on him. So going to be a tough guy to bring down for the Bearcats on the defensive side.
Not quite as big as the offensive lineman, but when you have a big back, a bruiser in the backfield, that's a fourth blocker that proves very valuable. And we know that the Bearcats also have a big back in Nasir Adams. We haven't seen him yet today. Rodney Gilmore takes the direct snap and will look to run with it. And he's taken down just shy of the 15-yard line.
That's a dangerous play right there, because that could easily be a play where the Bearcats try to punch the football out and get that turnover and get the ball right back for the offense. So good job right there from Gilmore to hold on to the football and now set up this next play for the Stampede.
Gilmore will be the quarterback in this one for Steel City, at least to start things. Manny Stewart, one of his targets, a name we've said before in the past when these two teams have met. Stewart made a big play, reception for a touchdown in the championship, a big play in week 1 last year. Peterson Apollon also out. He split wide to the left. Karif Hakeem wide to the right near the bottom of your screen as we have a pre-snap penalty. And it's going to be a false start against Steel City if Ja Valentine is correct. Instead, it's a delay of game.
And that's crucial considering where you had a 3rd and short on that upcoming next play. It was 3rd and about 3. That brings it now to about 3rd and 8. So maybe changes the play call here for the Stampede coming up. But as we've seen a lot in arena football, no matter what, it's pretty much 4-down territory regardless for both of these teams. So let's see if the Stampede will try to get at least closer to the first down marker or try to make it 4th and short or try to get the first down right here.
In arena, it's almost always 4-down territory. Here in Waranenko, I think it's fair to say it is always 4-down territory. The roof makes a punt almost impossible. Pre-snap motion man with Stewart as Gilmore was clobbered on that throw.
I mentioned earlier the Bearcats defense this season has forced so much pressure on these opposing quarterbacks that have led to a lot of their turnovers happening this season. You saw right there, Gilmore went through his progressions and eventually threw the ball just a tad second after his receiver in motion went behind the play. And it just looked like maybe there was a little bit of a miscommunication on that one. So now 4th and about 8 coming up for Steel City as they try to convert a 4th down conversion, which we saw a bunch of times in their first matchup earlier on in the season.
Dylan Lacroix obliterated him from the blind side. Stewart in motion again. Gilmore rolls to his right, throws end zone. And that is off the hands of his intended target. Reaching up with one hand was Karif Hakeem. That would have been an incredible catch. He was slammed into the boards for his trouble, and the Stampede will turn it over on downs.
And a good response by the Bearcats right there, Joe. After the interception on the first drive of the game, they're able to get that turnover on downs right there to keep their defense, keep the game scoreless, and now bring that offense back onto the field. But we'll have to see, Joe, how does the offense now come back out here after throwing that interception? Does that maybe play a mindset if you're a quarterback and kind of lean into the back of your head, or after your defense gets to stop there, does that now kind of erase the memory of that interception happening as the Bearcats try to get the first points of this game?
I don't think many quarterbacks will ever admit it, but a first drive interception has to change your mindset just a bit. It has to get to you to throw a pick on the opening drive. Fortunately, it didn't go for 6. I don't think the Bearcats get away from the game plan here. It was a good drive up until that interception as Trotman throws deep down the right sideline, and that's off the glass, incomplete. Renford never had a chance as that ball was a bit high, but Nick, he was open.
Yeah, Stampede can just breathe a sigh of relief. And PA announcer just said, just a bit outside. That was a walk-in touchdown right there for the Bearcats. If it was just a little bit closer to Renford on that play, so now it brings up second down.
The Bearcats are the home team, Nick. That's the home PA announcer.
I know. Just a little bit harsh. Just a little bit.
Not inaccurate, though the pass was.
Let's see if Trotman now can respond after that throw. And you have to wonder after that throw just happened, maybe if that interception is looming large on him, but could still have a couple plays to make up for the mistake.
Handoff. Goes up the middle and a broken tackle on the play by Nasir Adams. We'll see him make it out to midfield as he's tackled at the 25. And Nick, you have to wonder if how open Renford was on that play was in response to what we saw on the interception. The Bearcats still like to attack the middle of the field. They put a man in motion, draw the defense away from the intended target on the play. In that case, Renford, he was wide open. So that's something to keep in mind as we see the chess match between the Bearcats offense and the Stampede defense. We're just getting started, under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, about a third and maybe about 5 on this play coming up for the Bearcats.
That pass is complete to Kyle Ward, and that's enough for a first down.
That's one of those plays, Joe, where you know where the first down marker is. You throw that curl flat route to get in that first down mark, and a good job by Ward to see where the marker was, go back on the flat, and get the catch for the first down for Jersey.
You said it, Nick. It's critical to know where the sticks are on a play like that because Haynes was right there on the coverage. He made the tackle immediately. His drive on the football has been very impressive early in this game. That's someone to watch in that Steel City secondary here tonight.
And that's why when you do a curl flat like that, you have to have that 1 second in between you and the defender to make sure you get that that split second of separation. And Ward did a great job of that, getting that first down and extending this drive.
Credit to the quarterback on that play as well, getting the ball out on time as that one is spiked straight down into the turf. Todd Simmons Jr., the intended receiver. We got a chance to speak with Todd Simmons ahead of last week's game. And I took a look back at the Stampede roster we had from earlier this season. Simmons was on that roster when these two teams met all the way back in week 2.
We'll have to see now what Trotman and company can do. First quarter is winding down, just about under 30 seconds, so it looks like the Bearcats will get one more play off before this first quarter ends.
Bearcats line up in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right of Trotman. Renford in motion. Trotman over the middle. Throws for Renford. Incomplete. And Nick, that interception he threw earlier caused him to try and throw that up the field instead of throwing it ahead of Renford, and that cost the Bearcats touchdown.
Second time on this drive that the Bearcats have had a wide open receiver, and once again it was Renford wide open on that play. Just a little bit too much on the throw from Trotman. But if you look with the Bearcats, even with those incompletions, Joe, they are forcing a lot of missed coverages in the Stampede defense, and now they'll have to see if they go into the second quarter and try to get the first points of this game on the board.
That was as good a look as you could ask for. Instead, it will be third down when we come back. It is Bearcats football, and at the end of one, no score between the Jersey Bearcats and Steel City Stampede. We'll be right back.
Zolnir Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL2 champion Jersey Bearcats. Zolnir combines class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See our full lineup today, only at Zolnir, official partner of the Jersey Bearcats.
Today's game is being brought to you by Meineke Auto Center. Meineke is your choice for quality, reliable service at great rates all year long. Visit us at 495 East St. George Avenue in Roselle, New Jersey, or call 908-986-3932 to schedule your service today.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network as we await the start of quarter number 2 between the Steel City Stampede and the Jersey Bearcats. First, the Lady Bearcats will perform, and we'll throw it down to the field.
Play of the half.
Start of the second quarter from the Waranenko Sports Arena. Once again, Joe Foreman joining you alongside Nick Bavona. It is Bearcats football in a scoreless game. And Nick, I'm not sure we've ever covered a scoreless first quarter. The Bearcats hope to change that 0 up on the scoreboard shortly as that pass is complete. Nice move to the inside. And finally, Simmons is brought down as he is actually stood up. He was never taken down. 5 Stampede defenders were in the area. Nice move there by Todd Simmons back to the inside to pick up extra yardage after the catch.
Especially considering he was on the sideline near the boards to make that catch. A good job of avoiding the tackle, getting inside the middle, and getting the first down marker. But you mentioned it, Joe. A very scoreless first half between these two, first quarter, I should say, between these two teams. And that is, impairment to how this defense has played. We mentioned it a bunch of times already. But we've also seen the Bearcats have some opportunities in that first quarter to try to take advantage and get some touchdowns, have not been able to do so.
Nasir Adams tackled inside the 5. It looks like he's down to about the 2 or 3 yard line. 2nd and goal coming up.
We know that Adams scored the first touchdown of the championship game between these two teams last season. So almost getting the first touchdown of this playoff matchup here.
Adams, a bruiser down around the goal line. He has been money for 2 seasons in this area of the field. Once Jersey gets down to the goal line, it is very tough to keep them out. And they also have some passing plays in their arsenal down here when necessary, as that snap was low and Trotman keeps. That looked like the play design, but the snap was a bit low. It was bobbled, and that derailed any chance for Trotman to take that in. That brings up 3rd and goal.
And we know that the Bearcats have had those issues with fumbling against the Stampede so far in these couple matches that we've seen here on PDF. So almost had another disaster play right there. But now 3rd and goal. Obviously, we know we mentioned it. 4-down territory here, especially inside the goal line. Let's see what Jersey has dialed up here on 3rd down.
And we spoke about Keem Stewart on offense, Nick. He's in at defensive line right now. He is lined up over the center for Steel City defensively as Jersey will hand off to Adams. And he stumbles in for a touchdown. Bearcats on the board for the first time tonight. And they have a 6-point lead early in the second quarter, as Adams perhaps antagonizing the Steel City bench just a bit.
We'll have to see if that plays a factor in the Stampede maybe getting back into this game. That's definitely going to get them a little bit engaged to try to get into this one. But Adams does get the first touchdown of this one, puts the Bearcats up early 6-0. But as we know, Joe, we mentioned it, this is pretty much a long-standing rivalry we've seen between these two teams. So there is definitely some animosity.
Well, that won't help things.
No.
Adams looking real comfortable over there as he was posturing toward the Stampede bench. Cordoza's extra point is good, and Jersey leads 7-0. And Nick, at this time, I'd like to let everyone know that tonight's second quarter is being sponsored by Meineke Car Center in Linden. From extensive repair to preventative maintenance, Meineke of Linden is your pit stop on the road to success. Their qualified team brings you the best service and reliability at the right price. See our friends now at Meineke of Linden, official sponsors of the Jersey Bearcats.
And Joe, for the Bearcats, definitely getting that touchdown on that drive was huge for them, considering how the first drive ended up going for them. It looked like at times on that previous drive that they had a couple opportunities to get a touchdown on the board, a couple errant throws from Trotman, just a little bit over his receivers' heads, did not get him to score, but able to get down the field. Adams gets the first touchdown of this game. Definitely puts the Bearcats back at a great mindset as now their defense comes back out of the field after forcing a turnover on downs their last drive.
Well, we've seen some missed opportunities for Jersey. That being said, they still lead 7-0, and their defense has not broken yet. The Stampede yet to put up any points, obviously, and Jersey will hope to keep it that way as we move closer to halftime. Right now, the clock is stopped at 11:46 in quarter number 2. Cordoza will send it away.
We've seen the Stampede return a kickoff before. Let's see if they can do it again, but a nice bounce goes the Bearcats' way.
And Stewart has some work to do here. He needs to get out of the end zone. Did he make it?
Is that an Uno?
We may have an Uno. And if we do, that is the first we have seen now. Waiting for an official signal here.
I think they said he just got out.
Either he just got out or we have our first Uno. And Nick, if they got out, It was barely.
By a few inches.
Barely. I mean, that is about as close as it gets. We're not going to have a great view of it on the replay.
And I think even if you're the Bearcats, I think you probably prefer not to have that Uno, because look at how far back now the Stampede are defensively. This could be a place and spot where the Bearcats defense, if they get some pressure on the quarterback, could force a pick six.
And Nick, we just had our second player of the night hit in the head with a football.
I missed that one, though?
That was Dylan LaCroix. He was just hit in the head with a football.
Got to keep your head on the swivel right now.
From behind, they tried to get it spotted. They flipped it right off the back of his helmet. Really tough spot here for Rodney Gilmore and the Stampede offense.
Ball's on the ground, Joe. That's a touchdown.
And Matt Santiago is incensed right now. And Jersey is now up 12-0. Now, Nick, watching that play unfold, it looked like Gilmore didn't make an effort to pick up the football.
Correction, Joe. 13-0.
13-0.
But I think in that spot, that's why I was saying I think it's better to not get the Uno and get that opportunity to get a turnover force. And right there on that first play, ball comes out. Bearcats pounce on it, get the touchdown, and an early 13-0 lead now here in this first half.
And Nick, I think Gilmore believed that since the ball hit the boards in the back of the end zone that it was a safety. I think that's what he thought.
About to see if maybe we have a replay of it.
That's the only reason I could see for him not picking up that ball, as the extra point is blocked. And I'm not sure if you can advance a blocked extra point. Either way, it will be 13-0 Bearcats. And here's another look at what transpired in the end zone following the play. There you can see Matt Santiago very upset with his quarterback. And, Nick, I think he believed that because the ball hit the boards in the back of the end zone, that the play was dead. I think that was the thought process there, and that obviously is not the rule in arena. So play continued. The Bearcats recovered for a touchdown, and in very unorthodox fashion, Jersey leads by 2 scores.
Let's talk about the unorthodox way of the different contrast of points. It could have been an 8-0 lead for the Bearcats had they gotten the Uno. If they gotten the safety, it could be 9-0. They will take the extra points, getting that fumble recovery in the end zone. A 13-0 lead. Once again, Joe, the Bearcats defense pouncing on another turnover force against the Stampede offense. And now, let's see, maybe they get another favorable bounce here on this upcoming kickoff.
That ball skips into the arms of the return man, and Shady McCoy is out to the 25 where it's fumbled. Was he down? He was. McCoy down by contact at the 25-yard line.
I will say, Joe, you said the name Shady McCoy. I thought that was maybe a reference to LaShawn McCoy, but that is his name, Shady McCoy.
Going by the roster, Nick.
Right. He was down, though, thankfully for the Stampede's sake, as the Bearcats almost forced another turnover here in this first half. So now let's see, Joe. 13-0 lead for Jersey. Stampede could really use some points here, try to get back into this game. But still very early on here in the first half. About 39 seconds till we have our next media timeout.
All right, so Nick, we're getting word from one of our producers. The ball did not hit the boards ahead of the fumble. So I'm not sure what the thought process was in regards to not picking the ball up, but it did not look like the offense for Steel City was moving.
And multiple flags. That was maybe the quickest false start I've ever seen, Joe.
And Nick, with that, the Stampede are going to make a change at quarterback. Day Lewis is in as the new quarterback for the Stampede. With his team trailing by 13 in the second quarter, the clock just ticked beneath 8 minutes. So with the next stoppage, we're going to have a media timeout. That may be right now if the officials catch it. Taking a look toward
the flag, it looks like was picked up, so it looks like there's going to be no flag on the play. So play will resume, and the Stampede will have this first play.
So they're going to get one more play in ahead of the media timeout. Lewis, the quarterback, Stewart, the motion man. And he hands off to Keene Stewart. Stewart taken down low. And that's a good job there defensively to go low by Keemon Coleman, making sure that the big Stewart couldn't stumble forward for any extra yards.
Yeah, it looks like he lost about 2 yards on that play. And that Bearcats defense so far, Joe, getting right through that Stampede offensive line. And they are really making a huge impact early in this scheme. Stampede really could use something offensively on these next couple plays if they're going to get back into this game. So let's see what the quarterback change can provide them any spark.
Stewart in motion once again. Looking deep down the field, throws the way of Stewart, and that is intercepted. Huge play by the Bearcats defense, and Nick.
Oh, look who it is.
Look who it is. Sadiq Nathaniel once again tormenting the Steel City Stampede. He has yet another interception.
And that he basically did what the Stampede did earlier. Nathaniel pretty much was playing incognito and was not looking, and it didn't look like anyone on the Stampede saw where he was. Makes a great read on the ball, gets the interception, immediately does get brought down, but once again, Joe, another turnover forced by that Bearcats defense, now 2 in the first 3 drives they forced so far in this early first half. As we now have our next media timeout. And what game do we have here, Joe?
This could be the most crowded fitness challenge we've seen all year, if that's what's coming up. But we'll have confirmation in just a moment. I think it is indeed fitness challenge. Great halftime contest or media contest in this case, giving some young fans a chance to get involved and show off their physical fitness. I'm almost ready. Unfortunately, Nick, it's the last game of the season, so I can't participate. But when the season began, I was not in a good place with the fitness. We are back on track now.
Nice.
I think 10 push-ups I could have handled week 1, I think.
It's better to do it in the summer as well. You burn off all those calories with the amount of sweat that's going on during the summer heat.
Doesn't make it any easier, though.
On your mark, get set.
All right, field of 7. Now, one contestant began doing his push-ups at the starting line.
Make a good pace to get back, though.
Well, I'm an advocate of full range of motion. Not enough time here to analyze every contestant, but I get the sense that working that quickly, it's tough to get that full range of motion, Nick.
Here goes the jumping jacks now. Always hated doing these in gym class.
I don't think I've done a single jumping jack since gym class in high school. Not my preferred form of cardio.
I've had a photo finish according to the PA announcer. That was a very close end of the race.
I want to know what's in the swag bag, Nick. The winner gets a swag bag. I have not gotten one yet. I'd really like to have one. I'd love to know what's in the bag.
We're always very happy to get anything that can be very, free, any food. We'll take anything here on PDF.
We're covering a team. I want the gear.
Yeah.
Always. Wear it proudly. Now, for the sake of professionalism, I had to go with the PDF polo. I was going to be on camera today. But any other day, if I'm not on camera for the pregame and halftime interviews, I have my brick-by-brick Jersey Bearcats T-shirt. It was ready to go until I found out that I'd be conducting the interviews today. So the T-shirt had to stay home. Bearcats lead it by 13 here at home. And now Trotman looks to add to that lead. He throws down the field. And nobody home as Renford has his arms out to his side, wondering where that ball was headed.
That was one where it was miscommunication. I think on that one, Trotman thought that Renford was going to get the ball up the middle of the field, he was looking for the left sideline on that one and trying to throw him the football, but Renford was going towards the middle of the field. So Trotman early on in this game, Joe, has had some miscommunications, has made some errant throws, but this team's still up 13-0 in this game. You can still fix those mistakes and make sure that your offense gets the necessary adjustments as this game goes along. We'll see now what he does here on second down.
Jelante Haynes has been very busy in coverage, and he's done a good job tonight. They've been going at him. We've seen him matched up with Renford quite a bit. Renford in motion here on this snap. Trotman, quick throw, looking for David Ross on the screen. That pass is incomplete.
Quick throw to the ground right there from Trotman after the screen was unsuccessful. So early for the Stampede now, they force a 3rd and long. This could be crucial for them getting back into this game if they can force a potential turnover on downs now. We'll see what they do, as we're just about 23 seconds away from 5 minutes left here in the first half.
5:15 to go until halftime. Renford and Simmons Jr. to the right of Trotman. Cooperwood in motion to the left as Ross receives the toss. He heads toward the sideline, fights upfield, and he's out across the 15. And forward progress should put him right around the first down marker. And Nick, he looks to be a yard short.
As I said, it looks like he's just about a yard short on that one. Good job by the Stampede to wrap him up on that play. That definitely caught them off guard, though. I don't think the Stampede were thinking a run was going to happen, especially of a toss variation on that 3rd and 10. So now 4th and 1 coming up here for the Bearcats. Cannot afford a false start or illegal motion on this play, as it looks like they will potentially try to run the football maybe once again here, try to continue this drive.
I was about to say, Nick, ahead of that last play, that Stampede needed a stop, but how big would it have been if that stop could have come so close to the goal line? At the very least, the Bearcats giving themselves some breathing room, and they will look to run. Toss goes left to Ross. He has the first down and more, out across midfield and taken down at the Steel City 24-yard line.
Once again, another toss, this time to the left side of the field. From Trotman to Ross on a good run right there. Definitely got the first down and extra yardage to continue this Jersey Bearcats drive. So after a couple of throws to start off this drive, Joe, they're now relying heavily on the run game, as it looks like the Stampede potentially. There's a timeout on the field. I'm trying to see if it was called. It is called by the Stampede.
Timeout called by Steel City, and with that, we will very quickly step aside for break. When we come back, the Bearcats driving, leading by a score of 13-0.
Radel Volkswagen of Linden is your official sponsor of Bearcats football. Visit our showroom today for great deals and tell them the Bearcats sent you. Radel VW of Linden. Visit us today.
And we're back from the Waranenko Sports Arena, where the Bearcats picked up a first down on a 4th and short. David Ross on the toss play picked up the first, and now Trotman will look to throw. Trotman, end zone. Renford there, and he's got it for the touchdown.
Well, Joe, he's been trying to hit Renford up a couple of times already here in this first half for a touchdown. That's definitely a confidence booster right there for Khalil Trotman, finally hitting Renford up for that score, and it's now a 3-possession lead for the Bearcats here with just 3 minutes to go in this first half.
Undoubtedly the best ball of the night from Khalil Trotman. He did not have a big window. He did have the safety net of being able to overthrow that ball, and of course there's going to be no defender back beyond the glass in the corner, but he dropped it right where it needed to be, leading Renford into the little bit of open space in the corner of the end zone, and he protected his receiver as well. If you throw that too far ahead of him in the corner, he's going head first into the glass, but he did a great job making sure that didn't happen. Renford secures the catch and the Bearcats touchdown, as it looked like A.J. Roquet called timeout, and the Bearcats may be going for 2 here.
I was going to say, what do you do on the spot? It's 19-0. It's a 3-possession game regardless, but do you go for the 1 to get the extra point, or do you try for the 2 to make it a 21-point game?
Well, knowing the Stampede don't have a kicker, it makes things tough on them either way. Ahead by 19, I'm not sure it matters too much, Nick, but we've seen some crazy things happen. There's a lot of ways to score points.
They have the offense out there on the field, so they are going for 2.
And Nick, I was looking to see the halfback. It is Ross, who is getting an increase in usage here tonight. We've seen a lot of him, and his usage rate has picked up throughout the season as Trotman looks to throw. Short pass incomplete.
Looked like I got tipped at the line of scrimmage.
We'll slow that replay down and see if it indeed was tipped at the line. But it looked like that was tipped, Nick, and we'll slow it down to see. Here's a look. Did appear there was an open man coming over the middle, and I think he got a small piece maybe.
I can't tell if his hand hit it or maybe got a piece of the helmet.
We could slow it down a bit further. One more look.
Looks like you got the hand in at the last second.
Yep. It's good defensive play to keep 2 points off the board because it looked like the Bearcats had that conversion should the pass have cleared the line of scrimmage. It's now 19-0 in favor of Jersey. And when these two teams met earlier in the season, Bearcats had to sweat that game down to the final minutes. They've put themselves in a position now where they have an opportunity to shut out Steel City through halftime with 2:31 to go before the end of the second quarter. And then Steel City will get the ball to start the third. As McCoy had it hit off his hand, he brings it in. He works toward the near side, cuts upfield, broke one tackle, but is met by 3 Bearcats just across the 15. He is down at the 16.
So about 2:17 now and counting in this first half. Stampede, this would be a huge show. If they are able to get a touchdown before the end of the half and get the football back in the second half, they can potentially make this a one-possession game. So they can really use something here, but the clock is running down on them, and we'll have to see if they can get something going now with just under 2 minutes to go in the half.
And Nick, I wouldn't say it's must-score for Steel City yet. We're getting awfully close to that point. What is necessary is they don't give up any more points before halftime.
I think it's more necessary in terms of getting your confidence going into that second half. That might be why it might be a must, touchdown drive here for Steel City if they want to get into this game.
Stewart in motion. Lewis tucks, looks to run, nearly lost his footing, and he is brought down hard. That's a strong tackle by Keemon Coleman.
Coleman was not phased by any of the movement right there. A great open field tackle. Looked about maybe a loss of 1 or 2 yards on that play. Clock still running as we're near the 1 minute mark in the first half. So Steel City is running out of chances. Still has 2 timeouts.
The clock, I should say, counting down toward 1 minute. We're at 1:05 right now. A minute and eternity in the arena game, so keep that in mind. Stewart in motion once again. Lewis throws one straight into the glass as the Stampede look to set up a screen.
So now third down, stops the clock with 53.3 to go. But it doesn't seem like right now, Joe, the Stampede just have been having trouble to move the ball down the field in this scheme. That last drive, they tried to throw a deep ball, got an interception on that one. Now you have a 3rd and long here, and if you're the Bearcats, you're 2 quick stops away from potentially getting the football back and maybe, especially with your 2 timeouts remaining in the first half, maybe getting more points on the board.
Big snap here for the Stampede. The Bearcats hoping to get it back. It's 3rd and long for Steel City. Lewis immediately forced to step up. No running room to be found, and he is tackled at about the 15-yard line. Deshaun Copes was in on that play. Had some help from Dylan LaCroix as well. And Nick, with 40.3 on the clock, this is a huge play for Steel City. They can't give it back to Jersey.
And we saw in the matchup earlier where the Stampede got some crucial 4th down conversions to keep their drives going. But if they're not able to convert right here, the Bearcats, if they get the stop, will have that 1 timeout remaining, and they will have enough time potentially to get some more points on the board before this first half ends. So a crucial play. And I mentioned early on in this game, Joe, that's a point in this game where there could be how close these two teams are. One play could really decide who wins this contest.
Big 4th down for Steel City. We have it at a 4th and about 12. Lewis in motion, or Stewart, I should say, and Lewis targeting Stewart, throws incomplete. And that would have been awfully close to a first down, Nick. Stewart had it, and it hit him in the chest.
He was right at the marker. He would have gotten the first down. That is a brutal break for the Stampede. Now it stops the clock at 34.5 to go, and the Bearcats still have that 1 timeout remaining. But also on that play, Joe, Stewart took a shot after he dropped that football. He is very shaken up as he goes back to the sideline.
Yeah, he hasn't moved that left arm since exiting the field. That would be a huge loss for Steel City, and that's a first down, Nick, that it felt like they had to have. And if Jersey can score here, that will make it a 3-possession game. Check that. It would be a 4-possession game.
And they have excellent field position. even though we know how the field position is for arena football regardless. Any field position is good, but when you're on this side of the football, the Bearcats will certainly take that, especially with that one timeout to go.
I always say, Nick, if you're in plus territory, you're off to a great start, and the Bearcats will start this drive from the Steel City 17. Trotman looking to his left, throws that way. Renford, end zone, and he's got it with one hand.
Wow.
Touchdown, Jersey.
The adjustment Renford had to make on that catch, Joe, that is wide receiver one-on-one right there. It did not look like Renford was going to be able to catch that one. Just gets behind the defender at the last second and catches it with one hand to make that touchdown, as we had a very long and extensive Jersey Bearcats touchdown call from the PA announcer.
Renford with what might be the highlight of the year for the Bearcats here at home, Nick. And we'll get another look at it as he went up over the top of the Steel City defense. We'll get a second look following this extra point.
Renford could make the case he could have had 4 touchdowns here in this first half.
And that extra point is no good. So it is 25-0 Bearcats. Let's get one more look at that last play.
And you'll see here, Renford, Trotman looks at him the entire way. It doesn't look like Renford's going to be able to play with the safety especially right there. But at the very last second, Renford got behind him and had to only make that catch with one hand. There was no way he was going to be able to catch it with 2. That's just a great play by Renford, who's had an unbelievable first half in this one. And how about Trotman, Joe? After the first couple of drives did not go his way, he has now found that groove late here in the first, and now a 4-possession lead for Jersey here with 29.4.
And Nick, you know this is closer to what the Bearcats expected in the first meeting versus what happened in that game. And credit to the Stampede, they traveled into Waranenko in week 2, and they pushed the Bearcats to the limit. The Bearcats have come out in this game and really asserted dominance in the first half. Steel City will get the football to start half number 2, but feels like they need a score right now. They have 29.4 to get one.
And they still have 2 timeouts as well, so they still have a chance here, but their offense has been struggling right now to move the football. And you hear the 12th man, Joe, as I mentioned earlier, they are getting into this one. Chance of defense before this kickoff.
And the kickoff went through the arms of Apollon. He allows McCoy to scoop it up, and now McCoy is being yanked all the way back. I think forward progress will have him at about the 10 or 11.
Almost a face mask on that tackle.
They'll spot him at the 11.
And still, that's not great field position for Steel City. That could be another spot where, if you're the Bearcats, you get some pressure, which they have been doing, especially on that last drive. That could force an error throw, maybe give Jersey maybe one more opportunity to score. And they still have one timeout as well.
Well, Nick, you said it. Opportunity for the Stampede here. And they have 21.9. We have them with 2 timeouts remaining.
That's correct.
No official tally on the scoreboard here at Waranenko. Lewis will send Haynes in motion, and Nick, Manny Stewart has not come back in the game as Lewis is sacked.
An immediate timeout call. That was that on the Bearcats side.
Wasting no time was Nick Price. He was in the backfield immediately. And that is a good question, Nick. Who called the timeout? Jersey we had with just 1. Now keep in mind, under a minute, you have to advance the ball forward. So I think instead, Nick, the official was just making sure the clock was stopped. That being said, I don't know exactly how that rule would work. That benefits the offense in this spot. Perhaps that rule is only invoked when a team has the lead. I find it hard to believe you'd give them a free clock stoppage on a sack. That wouldn't make much sense. But the rule is you have to advance the ball forward to keep the clock running in the final minute. As Lewis needs to escape the end zone here. He's in trouble, and he is still on his feet trying to fight out of the end zone. He can't do it, and that is a safety as shoves are exchanged, and that's going to be 2 points for the Bearcats, barring a flag. I believe the signal came in, though we do have a flag in the secondary, so hold on. The signal was safety behind the play. However, downfield, there is a flag. There is 6.3 on the clock.
That's on the defense.
That's a break for Steel City.
Huge break for them.
And Nick, they still have to go all out and try and score here. And without a receiver who's been their top target so far this year in the games we've covered, you're in a really tough position.
And also, you look at how Lewis has been in the pocket so far. He has really not had any time to make a read down the field, and that has really been hurting the Stampede in this first half. So now, with 6.3 to go, you still have that one timeout, or excuse me, the two timeouts you have left. There would have to be a very quick play if they're able to get 2 plays off to end this half.
We've seen it done before. Lewis sends Haynes in motion out of the slot. And immediately he is met by 2 Bearcats once again.
That's a safety.
And that is a safety to end the first half. It was Price, this time joined by LaCroix.
What a buzzer beater right there for the Bearcats to end this first half, getting that safety. And Joe, 27-0 lead for the Bearcats going into halftime. They have all the momentum going on their side of the football right now on both sides. And look, early on, their offense was struggling. A scoreless game, remember, going into this quarter. And they outscore the Stampede 27-0. Kind of similar to what we saw last week against the Warriors, where the Bearcats outscored them 25-0. All of that coming in the fourth quarter to give them that 40-point win.
Well, Nick, early in the game, things didn't look good for the Bearcats. They had the early interception. They had the missed connection on the touchdown. Since then, seems they can do no wrong. You have to love what you've seen from Jersey if you're a fan of the Bearcats. As for the Stampede, they are now down a receiver, assuming Stewart can't come back in the game. They've made a change at quarterback, and they need to make some adjustments heading into halftime. We'll see what they come up with as they trail by 27. Our score at the break, Jersey 27, Steel City nothing. We will have our Lady Bearcats spotlight during the halftime break, but first we will throw it to a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back with our Lady Bearcats spotlight.
Radel Volkswagen of Linden is your official sponsor of Bearcats football. Visit our showroom today for great deals and tell them the Bearcats sent you. Radel VW of Linden. Visit us today.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email daveriemann@rcn.com.
Today's Bearcats broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Applebee's of Edison, located at 1045 U.S. Highway 1 in Edison. Stop in after the game for great deals and drink specials. And also by J&J Snack Foods, located on 350 Fellowship Road in Mount Laurel. Call us toll-free at 800-486-9533. Thank you, Applebee's and J&J Snack Foods, for supporting Bearcats football.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
KKT, InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT, InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star, just like the Bearcats.
Today's game is being brought to you by Meineke Auto Center. Meineke is your choice for quality, reliable service at great rates all year long. Visit us at 495 East St. George Avenue in Roselle, New Jersey, or call 908-986-3932 to schedule your service today.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Kessler Rehabilitation Center are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at Kessler-PT.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Zolnir Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL2 champion Jersey Bearcats. Zolnir combines class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See our full lineup today, only at Zolnir, official partner of the Jersey Bearcats.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day and ticket information, please contact us at jerseybearcatsarenafootball@gmail.com.
Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports brings fans an interactive experience through watch-alongs, streaming, video presentation, and game knowledge. Coming from the mind of Coach Ed Gladney, fans gain an expanded understanding of sports entertainment from over 40 years of coaching experience. Coach Ed taps into his experiences from the different levels of sports he has coached as he is able to introduce fans to sports from a coaching perspective.
Bearcats fans, it's not too early to prepare for 2025. The Bearcats and the AAL2 are looking for partnerships and sponsors in 2025 as we grow our organization, team, and community reach. Reach out to us to get on board, inquire about team sponsorship or expansion, internship opportunities, and of course, 2025 season tickets. Reach out at jerseybearcatsarenafootball@gmail.com or visit americanarenaleague.com. Join our winning team and let's tackle the 2025 season.
The Omega Psi Phi fraternity was founded on November 17, 1911, on the campus of Howard University. Its founders are Dr. Oscar James Cooper, Professor Frank Charles Coleman, Bishop Edgar Amos Love, and Dr. Ernest Everett Just. Its cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift are the key principles which cement this fraternity to where we are today. Gamma Nu Nu chapter of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated was chartered on July 11, 2019, and are located on the Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in Columbus, New Jersey. Brothers of like-minded walks of life and careers make up and continue to build on the very same ideals to this very day, just as the founders of this great fraternity have done. For more information on Gamma Nu Nu, please visit us on Facebook, Gamma Nu Nu, the Bridge Builder Qs, and Instagram, #JBMDLQUES.
Bella Pianta Orthopedics, providing care with compassion and integrity for orthopedic disorders and injuries. We also offer concussion support for coaches, schools, and athletes, with 24-hour diagnostic and rehabilitation management for injured athletes. We are the proud team physicians for your New Jersey Bearcats. Please visit our comprehensive website or call us at 201-490-4333.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email daveriemann@rcn.com.
Today's game is being brought to you by Meineke Auto Center. Meineke is your choice for quality, reliable service at great rates all year long. Visit us at 495 East St. George Avenue in Roselle, New Jersey, or call 908-986-3932 to schedule your service today.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day, and ticket information, please contact us at jerseybearcatsarenafootball@gmail.com.
Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports brings fans an interactive experience through watch-alongs, streaming, video presentation, and game knowledge. Coming from the mind of Coach Ed Gladney, fans gain an expanded understanding of sports entertainment from over 40 years of coaching experience. Coach Ed taps into his experiences from the different levels of sports he has coached, as he is able to introduce fans to sports from a coaching perspective.
Bella Pianta Orthopedics, providing care with compassion and integrity for orthopedic disorders and injuries. We also offer concussion support for coaches, schools, and athletes, with 24-hour diagnostic and rehabilitation management for injured athletes. We are the proud team physicians for your New Jersey Bearcats. Please visit our comprehensive website or call us at 201-490-4333.
Bearcats fans, stay tuned just prior to kickoff as the Jersey Bearcats' own Shay Davis will sing tonight's national anthem. Coming up at the conclusion of the Brownstone pregame show right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Zolnir Championship Rings is the official ring provider of the AAL2 champion Jersey Bearcats. Zolnir combines class with excellence and is the perfect way to showcase perfection on the field of play. See our full lineup today only at Zolnir, official partner of the Jersey Bearcats.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Kessler Rehabilitation Center are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at Kessler-PT.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Bearcats fans, it's not too early to prepare for 2025. The Bearcats and the AAL2 are looking for partnerships and sponsors in 2025 as we grow our organization, team, and community reach. Reach out to us to get on board, inquire about team sponsorship or expansion, internship opportunities, and of course, 2025 season tickets. Reach out at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com or visit AmericanArenaLeague.com. Join our winning team and let's tackle the 2025 season.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
And we're back here on the PDF Sports Network with under a minute to go until the start of the second half between the Jersey Bearcats and Steel City Stampede. And Nick, by the time the Lady Bearcats emerged from the locker room, it was time for them to take team photos. They got one photo as a group and one photo with the football roster. So we didn't get a chance to do our Lady Bearcats spotlight during halftime. Perhaps we'll catch up with a member of the Lady Bearcats following the conclusion of tonight's game. And right now, Nick, all signs point towards this game ending in a Bearcats victory. How can the Stampede find a way to put this outcome in doubt to start the second half?
Well, Joe, it's a couple of things that they have not been able to do in the first half. They first off need to get a completion in this game. I do not believe they have completed one pass. I could be completely wrong about that, but to my knowledge, I don't think they've completed one pass in this game. So they need to first get that going in this game. Obviously, moving the football down the field will go a long way as well. But also for them, it's really going to come down to their pressure they've been allowing on the offensive side of the ball. You saw that last drive to end the first half for the Bearcats. They forced so much pressure leading to that safety on the final play of the half to get them this 27-0 lead. So the Stampede really need to, overall on offense, they've just got to fix a bunch of things to make sure that the second half is not as bad as the first half goes. And if you're the Stampede defense, they've also got to make sure that they can control their secondary issues that they've had in that first half. We saw Renford with 2 touchdowns in that first half, and he could have made the case, Joe, to have 4 in that first half. So he had a huge first. Stampede really need a big spark to start this second half if they want to come back and pull off what would be an unbelievable comeback in this game.
Stampede, no strangers to comebacks here at Waranenko. The Bearcats have showed no signs that they are going to let up in this game. So with Steel City receiving the football to start half number 2, we're about set for the start of the third quarter. I believe we are awaiting the clock being reset right now. Still 3 zeros up there on the clock. So once the clock is reset, we're good to go.
And there we go.
All right, 15 on the clock. Third quarter from the Waranenko Sports Arena. Jersey leads Steel City 27-0. It's been a dominant showing for the Bearcats. And they hope with a potential onside kick to get the ball back. And I think Steel City came up with it. And Nick, we saw that last week as the Bearcats tried to kick it toward one of the very big up men on the Western Maryland Warriors. Only one Stampede player was there in a position to receive that kick. And fortunately for Steel City. They were able to come up with it, and perhaps that's the jump start they need offensively. Great starting field position.
And that one for the Bearcats, they were trying to catch the Stampede off guard. Kind of like we saw in the Super Bowl with the Saints and the Colts, where we saw the Saints get that onside recovery to start the second half, and that would go a long way into them winning that game. But for this one, the Bearcats trying to put maybe an early exclamation point into winning this one. But for the Stampede, they now get the good field position to start the second half. And as we mentioned, Joe, they need a huge second half to get back into this game. They once again, though, go back to their original starting quarterback. So another quarterback change coming up for them.
Rodney Gilmore back in at quarterback for the Steel City Stampede. However, Manny Stewart is not back in, as Haynes was the motion man. Gilmore keeps and is carried into the Bearcats bench. That will draw a flag.
Bearcats have been delivering a bunch of brutal hits in this game that have really left a lasting impact for the Stampede in this game. They have been getting beat up in the field here today, but they'll have some extra field yardage now after that previous penalty.
So Steel City will gain yardage from the personal foul. This would be a half the distance to the goal position on the field and assessing that personal foul.
I think if you're the Stampede, getting not only that good field position to start off the half, but now you get that penalty tagged along with it, that could maybe, provide a spark for the Stampede to get back into the scheme. They need to get those points on the board first, though, if they want to have a chance to get back into it.
Gilmore remains the quarterback for the Stampede. It looks like he will be under center moving forward in this game. As Nick mentioned, he got the start. And they will hand off. And nothing doing on that carry. Team Stewart pushed backwards as he tried to bounce it outside. And the Jersey defense with a strong effort on first and goal.
Yeah, I think if you're the Stampede, this feels like that point in the game, Joe, where we mentioned earlier on. It's pretty much now or never for Steel City if they want to get back into this one. If they cannot get a touchdown in this drive, that might be all she wrote here for this game.
And Nick, I think it's fair to say it's now or never for the Stampede. They must score on this drive to remain in this game. 12 minutes to go, third quarter. Still plenty of time, given that Steel City scores. Jersey, of course, hopes that is not on the agenda. Haynes in motion pre-snap as a flag will come in from the secondary. And with that, we'd like to let everyone know that tonight's third quarter is being sponsored by Rydell Volkswagen of Linden. Purchasing a car these days can be tough, but not at Rydell, where our expert team makes car buying easy with a friendly staff and accommodations that put you, the driver, first. Score a touchdown on the field and on the road with Rydell Volkswagen of Linden, proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and their fans. Haynes, the motion man. Gilmore flushed out to his right. He escapes the pressure, throws, end zone, incomplete. And Nick, that was nearly intercepted once again.
I'm not sure if the flag was also thrown on the play. I thought maybe the referee in the middle of the field threw one. We'll have to see if that was the case. But the Bearcats almost hitting another interception, turnover forced. And there definitely was a flag, Joe, because the referees are discussing it. That is against the Bearcat defense.
So there is a flag on the play, and we'll see if that results in an automatic first down.
The previous penalty was, I think, a illegal formation on the Stampede, which gave them back 5 yards. That one, I think, was in the secondary. Not sure if maybe there was holding or pass interference maybe in that secondary for the Bearcats. But once again for the Stampede, they get some new life now here back in the goal line. So it looks like that ball is spotted maybe about the 9-yard line, it looks like.
That was Tariq Pusey on the coverage in the secondary, but we cannot see the sticks. I would assume that given the way the ball was moved, that was a foul in the secondary resulting in an automatic first down, which would set up a first and goal. Perhaps from our platform, our camera operator can see the sticks. As Gilmore will look to pass, he throws left corner of the end zone too high. And the intended target On the play was Jelante Haynes.
Would have been a tough catch for Haynes on that one. That was great coverage in that secondary for the Bearcats, as Keyman Coleman was in on the coverage. Correction, Joe, that was actually Sadiq Nathaniel that was in on the coverage. We've already seen him, the interception in this game.
Once again, Steel City looks to throw, and that pass is off target. Again, Haynes, the intended receiver.
And Joe, that was fourth down.
All right, so there was no automatic first down on the penalty, and that was fourth. The sticks were completely obstructed by the Bearcats bench. We could not see the down markers. So though there was a penalty against Jersey, it did not result in an automatic first down. And instead it was a replay of the down. So the foul must have been at the line of scrimmage, Nick, rather than in the secondary. The flag certainly came from the secondary, but the foul was at the line of scrimmage. So that was fourth down.
That's got to feel like a gut punch right there for the Stampede, not scoring on that drive. Were gifted a flag, but they also had a flag that came along their way as well. And now they got back on a defense, still trailing by 27. They could really use a turnover to get back into this game, but time is of the essence now. We're approaching the next media timeout, 8 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Bearcats football.
They were going to have that media timeout.
We are going to have that media timeout. So, Nick, once again, we're going to have an on-field contest, and for that, we'll turn it over to public address. You and I will step off headset for just a moment. Our score in the third quarter, Jersey 27 and Steel City nothing.
For all they've done for the Jersey Bearcats throughout the season. Joining co-owner Jermaine Sanders, we have representatives from Bearcats Orthopedics, Kessler Rehabilitation, Infinite Athletic Training, and KKT Investor. The Jersey Bearcats players, coaches, staff, and fans, thank you for making this season a success.
All right, Nick, so rather than a contest, it was a thank you. During the timeout, you heard that over public address. And now the Bearcats offense will take over, leading by 4 scores in this game. Nick, all they need to do, I think, is don't give up any points while in possession of the football, and they can coast to a win, barring a miraculous comeback, as Trotman throws deep over the middle, and that is the one way Steel City can get back in it. Points scored while on defense.
Right. Trotman had a wide receiver wide open up the middle, but a little bit over his head on that one. And Day Lewis almost had himself an interception and maybe could have gotten a pick 6. And Joe, he did some push-ups after missing that interception. And public address just made a comment about him doing those push-ups.
Get him in the fitness contest, though that might not be fair.
Although some of the Bearcats are saying that wasn't a regular push-up, so you be the judge at home if that was a good push-up or not. So now second down and 10 for the Bearcats here.
Trotman throws high, looking for Renford. The opportunity was there again, Nick.
Once again, looking for that wide receiver up the middle of the field, and once again had a good opportunity to get that throw there. But once again, Trotman overthrew his receiver too high. And it's now third down and 10. The only good thing for the Bearcats that's coming out of this drive, Joe, is that their clock is still running. Now 6:30 to go in this first half. Oh, excuse me, in the second half.
So Jersey will huddle.
Should have said the third quarter. Now my quarter is a little bit mixed up.
I will say, Nick, that first half was one of the quicker halves this season.
It felt like it.
Moved very well, did the first half. And once again, Trotman will throw. This time he completes. That's Kyle Ward, right along the glass far sideline. And that's more than enough for a Bearcats first down.
And that's just another play for the Bearcats where they had a wide receiver wide open either near the sideline or in the middle of the field. That one was just too easy for the Bearcats to miss, and they get that first down to extend this drive.
First down for your Jersey Bearcats.
First down, Bearcats, 5:40 to go here in the third quarter. Stampede have to get off the field and do so quickly. Jersey looking to put this game out of reach for good. Trotman sends Renford in motion. He looks that way. The play blown up at the line of scrimmage, so Trotman will take off. That was defended well by the Stampede.
It was like about 5 yards on that play. 2nd and 5 coming up. Joe, you got raffle tickets in front of you. Might have to maybe buy one and see if we can win. Had one last week.
No, he didn't.
I know.
The prize last week, I believe, was a wine basket and a basket of lotions. I'm not sure what use that would be to me.
I'm going to love it with you, Joe. I wish I heard what you said. The public address announcer mic booming right now.
It's a bit loud.
Just a bit loud. You can tell me now.
What I was saying is I'm not sure what I could do with a basket of wine or some body
Oh,
lotions.
okay. I got you.
Handoff goes to Ross, and he's tackled at the Steel City 22.
Nice wrap-up tackle right there for the Stampede. Forces now third down.
We have a whistle down on the field.
There's some T-shirts along with those raffles, so we can get some merch.
It's all about the fit, Nick.
It's all about the fit. Third down.
I know a guy
now.
who could sell him on eBay, Nick.
Yeah, I've heard.
Trotman throws right. That's complete to Simmons Jr. And he was wrapped up, it appeared, but instead he fights forward out across the 10-yard line.
And once again, Joe, the Bearcats using that curl flat on that sideline. Too easy of a play for Jersey, and they got enough separation, gets the first down. It looks like it's going to be first and goal coming up for Jersey right here. So the ball is marked at the 10, so it's going to be first and goal as Jersey looks to extend this lead.
Man in motion is Simmons Jr. Trotman throws for Renford, incomplete. Just getting a hand in there in time was Lee Holmes.
Lee Holmes, we mentioned earlier, he had the fumble recovery in that game that we covered last season that set up the Stampede game-winning drive.
And Holmes very nearly got into position for potential interception. Had to reach up and back. His body contorted just enough to avoid a chance for a pick on that play. Second down, Bearcats. Ward, the motion man, he takes the handoff. Ward has blocking. Ward up the sideline and in. But a flag comes in late.
Was that holding on the offense? And it was.
That was well behind Ward. And we'll see if we can catch the holding on a replay.
Bearcats going for that jet sweep on the left side. And unfortunately got a late holding call that prevented the touchdown from happening. So those 6 points will come off the board and push the Bearcats back.
Tough to see from where I'm standing. But I can guarantee you those watching on a big screen were able to spot it. Or perhaps not. They didn't agree with the call.
It's tough. You're going to have to zoom in. If you're on a mobile phone, if you zoom in, you probably could see it better. So the ball now is going to be respotted at the 16-yard line. Still second down.
So the Bearcats are backed up outside of the 15. They'll snap this one from the 16. 1:32 to go, third quarter. Quick throw outside for Ward. He has blockers in front of him, and he is fighting forward all the way down to the 6-yard line. Great effort on that play from Kyle Ward, and Bearcats finding ways to get the ball out of Khalil Trotman's hands quickly, and with that, they've moved up the field quickly.
Yeah, it looks like they're around the 6-yard line, so about 10 yards on that wide receiver screen to Ward. Third down now upcoming.
And the handoff was fumbled. Not sure if Ross ever possessed it. You'd have to think that was a read option, and nearly a disaster it was for the Bearcats.
Bearcats are thankful to be the recipients of the recovery right there, and I would tend to agree. I think that was going to be maybe a read option on that play. So now 4th and goal, just around, it looks like the 9-yard line for Jersey here. They'll have one more play left here in the third quarter before we head into the fourth.
Clock inside of 30 seconds in quarter number 3. Ward in motion. Trotman looks, scrambles right, running out of time, throws end zone, and Haynes had 6 points go right through his hands.
And you saw on that one, Trotman was looking for a receiver, waited to the very last second. Todd Simmons Jr. was wide open in the back of the end zone, but he needed a little bit more air on that football to get that completion. And as you mentioned it, Haynes almost had himself a potential pick-6 opportunity to end this third quarter. Bearcats now go into the fourth quarter. 15 minutes away, Joe. We're moving on to West Virginia for a semifinal matchup with the Wheeling Miners.
With the Bearcats now possessing the ball, ahead by 4 scores. We'll talk a bit more about what's to come in the AAL2 playoffs for Jersey and their matchup with Wheeling next week. But we still have one more quarter to go in this one. 15 minutes on the clock. The Bearcats lead it 27-0.
Radel Volkswagen of Linden is your official sponsor of Bearcats football. Visit our showroom today for great deals and tell them the Bearcats sent you. Radel VW of Linden. Visit us today.
Bella Pianta Orthopedics, providing care with compassion and integrity for orthopedic disorders and injuries. We also offer concussion support for coaches, schools and athletes, with 24-hour diagnostic and rehabilitation management for injured athletes. We are the proud team physicians for your New Jersey Bearcats. Please visit our comprehensive website or call us at 201-490-4333.
And we welcome you back with the Lady Bearcats performing ahead of the fourth quarter. And it's been a good night for the Jersey Bearcats, Nick. There have been some things to clean up, and we'll talk more about that moving forward in this game. But the outcome of this game hasn't been in doubt yet. The Bearcats jumped out to an early lead. And here in the fourth, they lead by 27.
Yeah, I think if you're Jersey, obviously there's been some miscues in the offense where you've had a couple of missed passes and some overthrows. The running game has been a very nice improvement for them here tonight as well. But the good thing about having this lead is you now can make those adjustments. If you're able to hold on here tonight, you can make those adjustments going into next week against West Virginia and make sure that you can move on to the championship game. Now, there was a flag on this pre-snap before we had the first play of the fourth quarter.
Well, Nick, Shady McCoy now the quarterback for the Steel City Stampede. And as you mentioned, we have a flag and a stoppage. So while we do, we'll remind you that tonight's final quarter is sponsored by Bella Pianta Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, providing state-of-the-art treatments with compassion and integrity. One championship team deserves another. Visit them at Bella Pianta Orthopedics, proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats.
Looks like that penalty was on the Stampede. So that pushed them back 5 yards. So it's going to be first and long, pretty much almost backed up into their own end zone.
And Nick, that was Keem Stewart taking the snap as the quarterback.
That
the
ball's
ball
on the ground.
is loose and recovered by the Bearcats. Stampede tried to make a change, Nick, and it didn't work out on that first snap. Penalty ahead, and then the play that followed, a disaster.
Once again, Joe, we've also seen a pre-snap fumble mishap for the Stampede in this game. Remember earlier on they had that fumble recovery that got them a touchdown in this game. Now they get another fumble recovery here on that pre-snap mishap. So now 27-0 lead, clock is running down, and the Bearcats are just moments away from moving on to the semifinals.
Well, Nick, let's talk a bit more about the matchup that looms next week. And the Bearcats have done a lot well tonight. The defense has been fantastic. The Stampede haven't had anything on offense, and I think that box is checked. However, despite putting up 27 points, we've seen some missed connections and some plays that were there for the taking and passes not completed. Those are mistakes they can't afford against the Miners next week.
And I think those are mistakes that you can easily fix in practice, because it's been a couple of overthrows from Trotman to his receivers, but yet Trotman has still made some pretty impressive throws in this game, regardless of the mishaps he's had in the first half. So obviously you don't want to make those mistakes against the Wheeling Myers next week because of how good they have been this season, but you have a full week of practice to make sure that you can correct those mistakes and make sure you can make the necessary adjustments to win that game.
And let's talk about something else that changes next week. It's not just the opponent. Obviously the Wheeling Miners, a team that has beaten Jersey twice this year, but the facility will also change. You lose home field advantage.
Right.
However, the roof, no longer a factor on that deep ball, and that completely changes the game.
Right, and I think another thing, too, is the two matchups that the Bearcats had this season, probably two of the closer matchups the Wheeling Myers have had all season. The Bearcats have certainly pushed them to their limit. A bad snap for Jersey there, but Trotman falls on the ball. It's going to be second and now long upcoming for Jersey there.
Well, A.J. Roque almost decided to take that one out on his headset.
He's probably thought about picking the ball up himself.
He is a former quarterback. Very accomplished quarterback at the college level. So that will move Jersey way back. They'll snap this one from about the 12. But obviously, Nick, there are things for the Bearcats to clean up. That being said, this team deserves a ton of credit for persevering through obviously the loss of Stephen Colon. They dealt away Pete Savridis and have incorporated a lot of new weapons into this offense, adjusting throughout the season to get to this point. And now they're on the doorstep of a playoff victory as a flag comes in from the secondary and a delay of game is called against Jersey. And you hate to see a game that's now in the final 11 and a half minutes end on a sour note like this with a botch snap and some penalties. You love to end on a high note if you're the Bearcats, but right now they're not trending in that direction.
Yeah, I think you want to make sure you have a good amount of momentum going into next week for that matchup. So can't afford those penalties, as Trotman will take the snap there, and the ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to bring up now third down. Nice play by, trying to think, that was number 32, Joe? I think that was 32 that had the deflection on that one.
And number 32 would be Toby Onyechi. We said his name earlier in the game, working on that defensive line for Steel City. He's moved into the middle now. He started the game on the outside. Zay Stewart was his counterpart at the opposite end. Rodney Gilmore now on the defensive line, along with Peterson Apollon. Well, Gilmore actually at the linebacker spot. That's my mistake. And that pass is complete to Renford. Nice move upfield. He loses the helmet. That's dangerous always.
That's helmet to helmet right there, Joe, for sure. That's going to be a penalty and give the Bearcats a first down regardless.
And that was 14, not 4 on the defensive line. That was Pharrell Glow on the defensive line for Steel City, not Apollon. And Nick, a player who had 3 interceptions in the first meeting in Peterson Apollon, he's been playing offense tonight. We haven't seen him on the defensive side of the ball, but Jelante Haynes had a nice night in that Steel City secondary and has filled the shoes that we saw Apollon fill back in the first matchup.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a good performance from Haynes in this game. But going back to that play, Joe, that's one where if you're the Bearcats, you cannot afford to have any type of injury this late in the game when you already have the game pretty much wrapped up. You need to make sure that at this point in stage of the game that you do not get any injuries so you have these key players for you next week against the Miners.
That's always a point that comes up late in these games that are decided typically. I think with the clock continuing to run, this game has been decided with a 4-score lead. But Trotman and the Bearcats looking to go ahead by more as that pass was completed to Simmons Jr. on the screen. And he will take it in for a Bearcats touchdown as he passes that ball over to the official. 33-0 Bearcats, 9 minutes to go.
I know someone that likes the number 33. It might be the PA announcer, the way he has excluded, or exclaimed, I should say, the Jersey Bearcats. But a 33-0 lead now. 8-minute media timeout warning is almost coming up here. Very impressive second half, but the first half obviously was a huge, huge reason why this game got out of hand. Bearcats defense playing phenomenal in this game, and I mentioned it earlier that they were looking to carry their defensive momentum from last week into today. They certainly have done that in this game.
They sure have. And the extra point is good. Jersey now in front by 34, so fans of the number 33 will have their excitement.
Short-lived 33 moment right there.
Big lead for the Bearcats now, and Nick, we've mentioned it already, but Jersey will move on to face the Wheeling Miners next week. And back in week 1, that game was a shootout. Back and forth. The second game played here at Waranenko doesn't really allow for that with the low roof. It was
a little bit more defensive compared to the first
low-scoring game. And the Bearcats in that one were right there until the end. Came up just short. What do they need to do next week to get over that hump and advance to the championship?
I think you have to just fix anything on the offensive side of the ball that has been, not going their way in this game. Obviously, some missed completions. They've had some pre-snap penalties. And other than that, your defense, this is a good boost to go into next week. You've seen a lot of good things from the defensive side. Great pressure, forcing a couple of interceptions as well. We know the Wheeling Miners, though, Joe, have a great offense. I mentioned it. They put up 71 points last week. This Stampede team as well knows how good the offense is. The Wheeling Miners put up 80 on them at one point during the season as well. So the Wheeling Miners offense has been great. Jersey's going to need a really good defensive game in that one if they're going to have a chance to beat them and move on to the championship.
And Nick, it looks like it is time for my favorite contest of the night. Dressed like a Bearcat.
I was wondering if we were going to have it.
And I think for the first time they have it right. The shoes are now last.
Good.
When the shoes are first and you have to get the pants over the shoes, really tough. So a bit easier on our contestants here tonight, as it looks like we're going to have a field of 4 competing in the Dress Like a Bearcat contest.
For this contest, our contestants are going to have to
And it looks like some of our contestants were waved off the field. They only have 2 uniforms, Nick.
Just a bit of a overcount.
Everybody wanted in. They've seen how tough it is. They wanted to try their hand.
I mean, if you're getting a swag bag at the end, Joe, why not?
I agree with you.
I'm surprised we're not on the field competing for this.
It goes silent on the call. You and I waiting at the door to get down to the turf on field level.
Look who's on the field, Joe, as well, trying to help our 2 contestants out with this relay race.
We got a couple of Bearcats ready to give an assist. It's number 91 on the far side. That's Jaleel Tyler, and then, of course, on the side, Shea Davis. All right, the jerseys are on. And they're giving an assist with the pants.
And Davis is running along with them, trying to get the cleats on.
What size are those cleats is the question. Oh, boy.
Well, the pants are falling.
Pants are down.
He's stumbling and bumbling, but he's into the end zone.
That is as spirited an effort as we have seen all season.
You gotta love the effort for those swag bags.
A very fitting end to a season filled with great media timeout contests here at the Waranenko Sports Arena. They got that one in outside of 8 minutes with 8:23 to go in the game. So thank you to our contestants, and a great job by Jermaine Sanders and the Bearcats all season long to put on great entertainment for the fans during our timeouts.
So now we come back from that media timeout, 34-0 lead. We've already seen the Bearcats once so far in this second half, Joe, try an onside kick. Who knows what they try it again?
I think the Stampede would be wise to be ready. Let's see. Cardozo will kick. Now, were they trying to kick that at the up man is the question, because it just missed him. As the tackle is made short of the 15-yard line.
And once again, on that kickoff return, just no breathing room for the Stampede to get up the field. And once again, they will have short field position on this one for the Bearcats. A chance with a turnover maybe to get some more points on the board.
Apollon was the return man on that last one, but that kick barely missed contacting Pharrell Glow up front, leading that special teams unit as one of the up men for the Stampede. So the clock is running. We are down to 7:40 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And the Bearcats, with a win tonight, will advance to face the Wheeling Miners. That game will take place in 1 week. Jersey will travel to West Virginia. And then, should they win, 2 weeks later, they take the field there once again. If the Miners win, they will play in the AAL2 Championship Bowl 2 on their home turf. And what a big advantage that would be. Throw goes toward the far side. It's complete. And the tackle is made just shy of 20. That was Justin Haynes on the reception. Now Nick, was that the first Steel City completion, or they had one earlier in the half?
That might have been the first one, Joe. I'm having a hard time remembering if they had one.
They might have had one before that. Haynes in motion, throw goes near side, too high for Shady McCoy. Bodies flying in front of the Bearcats bench.
Well, apparently Dez didn't catch it. I'm in agreement of that, Joe.
He thinks Dez didn't catch it.
I agree he didn't catch it.
You think he didn't catch it? Well, you're a Giants
fan. That's bias.
You're a Giants fan. I don't know, Nick. I think he caught it. Dez anyway.
Yeah. No, he didn't catch it.
Some very colorful public address announcing tonight.
Definitely say that. That's definitely the case for that. Got now 3rd and about 4 upcoming here.
Haynes in motion. Throw goes deep in his direction. Jump ball, incomplete.
Almost a one-handed catch on that sideline made by Haynes.
On the coverage was Adam Dolphin. And we've said his name quite a bit this season. Dolphin's been in on some big plays defensively. He's done a good job in the defensive backfield for Jersey. And when the season began, the secondary looked quite different than it did last year in terms of personnel. Much of the other pieces of this team, the offensive line, or at least some of it, up front defensively, the linebacking core, a lot of those names, familiar ones. In the defensive backfield, some newcomers have made an impact, but with Sadiq Nathaniel's return, a Bearcat from last year, makes a big impact as the snap was fumbled. It is recovered by the Bearcats, and they are in for another touchdown on defense. This time it's Kareem Bernard with the scoop and score.
Just took the words right out of my mouth, Joe. Scoop and score for that Bearcats defense, as they now have a 40-0 lead here in the fourth quarter. This is a true statement being made by Jersey just a week ahead before they travel to West Virginia to take on the Wheeling Miners.
And Nick, during the pregame, we took a look back at the game from last year between these two teams. Muffed snaps played a really big role in the outcome of that game. And fortunately for the Stampede, they were able to overcome that and still win. But Jersey jumped out to that sizable lead due in large part to the muffed snaps by the Stampede. And tonight, we've seen quite a few miscues before these offensive plays for Steel City can get off the ground.
Yeah, it just seems as if Steel City has not been able to get anything going realistically on both sides of the ball, as that low snap will prevent any PAT or two-point conversioning from happening. As we're now under 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, Nick, I had to see where that segue was going over public address.
Well, it's definitely not my iPhone 15.
No, not mine either. That is an interesting way to notify the crowd of a lost iPhone, but got the job done. And Nick, Bearcats have gotten the job done today. It's a 40-point lead, and they haven't given up any points defensively. You can't do any better than that. You know that there will be some things they look to clean up offensively. You can only imagine what the score might be had they connected on a few of those passes.
Right.
But outside of some misfires, I think there's a lot to like from this game, along with plenty to work on.
Thinking about what the defense has done, Joe, they have not allowed a touchdown since the second quarter of that game they had last week. They're about 3 minutes and 55 seconds away from 6 straight quarters of shutout defense. So they have been playing phenomenal football down the stretch of the season.
No question about it, Nick. And they will have to be the best they have been all season to score a win next week, and that is exactly what they tried to do.
They tried
on the last kick.
It worked last week for them. Stampede will have short field, and we'll see if the commentators jinx strikes, Joe. I said if they get past this next 3 minutes, they will get the 6 straight quarters of shutout football. Stampede will at least like to get some points on the board to end their season.
With that short kick contacting off the up man, Steel City gets great starting field position. Pharrell Glow took a shot right off the pads from close range there. When you're not ready for those, it can really get you. But Glow was ready. And now his team will take over inside the 15 all the way down at the Jersey 13-yard line.
It's also last call for 50-50, Joe. His fans have been rowdy all day in cheering in their Bearcats. I'm sure they'll be rowdy in just a few moments where they announce that 50-50 winner.
They better hurry up. 2:40 to go. Apollon in motion. Swing pass out of the backfield is dropped by Stewart.
Might have been a too low of a throw anyway, Joe. That one might have hit the ground before a catch was able to be made on that one.
In on the coverage was Kareem Bernard, chasing that play down from behind. Came in late with that diving swat attempt.
Such a moving story.
2:10 remaining. Stampede will look to break that shutout streak for the Jersey defense.
So let's look at that iPhone 15.
They're still searching for the owner of the missing iPhone. They better hurry up as well.
Yeah.
1:50 to go. McCoy the motion man now.
Flag in the backfield. Secondary.
Lewis accelerates up the sideline. He hurdles, stays on his feet. And I think he's just short, Nick. I think he's just short.
Looks like he's maybe at the line marker.
I think he's down at the 1.
There is a flag in the secondary pre-snap.
Hold it right here. And we said this last week about Lewis. He is not afraid of contact, or I should say earlier this season. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
I know.
But we said it earlier this season about Lewis. He is not afraid to lower his shoulder and initiate contact while carrying the football.
Flag was on the Bearcats defense, so it will be declined, Joe, and the Stampede will have that opportunity to get a touchdown to end this game as we've now hit the 1-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Bearcats defense will look to end the regular season with one final stand on defense. Lewis flanked by Stewart in the offensive backfield. Watch for that direct snap, Nick. There it is. And Stewart is taken down. And Nick, I think the stance of the quarterback really gave that one away. He was not in any position to receive the football.
As soon as he got the direct snap, he started to stumble to his left, and he lost a couple of yards on that play. So now 2nd and goal upcoming here for the Stampede. And we're going to have timeout on the field. Called by the Stampede.
37.2 to go. And they are announcing the winner of the 50-50.
I can tell you, Joe, it was not me and no one here. But it is someone that is close to us.
The winner seated right in front of us, Nick.
What's your name, young lady? Tina Ross is an unlucky winner of the Lady Bearcats 50-50 and is going home with tickets to a soccer match as well.
I didn't hear what the prize was.
Part of it was tickets to a soccer match.
Okay. I heard the tickets part.
37.2 to go. Pre-snap motion, and initially that ball was fumbled in the offensive backfield. At least I think so.
It was a low snap.
Yeah.
It could have been a fumble-rooski if it worked, but maybe got a yard on it. It's now 22 seconds to go in the fourth. That might be the final play, but we'll see if they call a timeout.
15 seconds to go, and I think Steel City will take one more shot at it here.
They will. Should be the last play of the game right here.
Haynes in motion, fake handoff. Lewis looks to run. Now tucks and throws.
Did he catch
Incomplete.
He did not.
0.7 on the clock. One more play, Nick.
One play from that shutout victory to end this contest. And they actually called the game, Joe. That's it.
And that will do it. So the Bearcats are headed to the AAL2 playoff semifinals behind a 40-0 win over the Steel City Stampede. And Nick, the Bearcats make a statement in the first round of the playoffs.
Statement made for sure, Joe, on both sides of the football. They had some miscues early on and on the offensive side and were able to correct them as the game went along. But I mentioned it in the pregame, defense wins championships most of the time when it comes down to a game of football. And how about the Jersey Bearcats defense in this one, getting the win, a shutout as well, and they carry over as well that shutout from last week. 6 straight quarters of defensive shutouts for this Bearcat defense, and now a pivotal matchup next weekend with the Wheelie Miners in West Virginia for a trip to the AAL2 championship game. So quick turnaround for Jersey, but they're going into West Virginia on a very high note.
No question about it, Nick. And with that, we are going to step aside and take a quick break as I head down to the field for a conversation with some of the key figures in tonight's game. Coming up next, we head down to field level for Coach K's post-game wrap-up and perhaps a conversation with our player of the game. We'll be right back.
Radel Volkswagen of Linden is your official sponsor of Bearcats football. Visit our showroom today for great deals and tell them the Bearcats sent you. Radel VW of Linden. Visit us today.
Today's Bearcats broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Applebee's of Edison, located at 1045 US Highway 1 in Edison. Stop in after the game for great deals and drink specials. And also by J&J Snack Foods, located on 350 Fellowship Road in Mount Laurel. Call us toll-free at 800-486-9533. Thank you, Applebee's and J&J Snack Foods, for supporting Bearcats football.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
The Omega Psi Phi fraternity was founded on November 17, 1911, on the campus of Howard University. Its founders are Dr. Oscar James Cooper, Professor Frank Charles Coleman, Bishop Edgar Amos Love, and Dr. Ernest Everett Just. Its cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift are the key principles which cement this fraternity to where we are today. Gamma Nu Nu chapter of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated was chartered on July 11, 2019, and are located on the Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in Columbus, New Jersey. Brothers of like-minded ideas come together from all walks of life and careers.
88 on the Steel City Stampede is lining up for the final play of tonight's AAL2 playoff matchup.
We're back here from the Warenagel Sports Arena, Roselle, New Jersey. My broadcast partner, Joe Foreman, is on field level with the Coach K post-game wrap-up show.
Wait for the PA to go off because he's like mad loud.
Down field level with Coach K's post-game wrap-up. Coach K, statement win, 40-0. Obviously some things to work on, but a lot of positives that come from this game.
Oh man, special teams killed it. We had that surprise onside. I don't know how that kid caught it because we had like 8 dudes run at him at one time. And then the second one wasn't planned, but kickoff return, man, we just absolutely killed it. PAT, we're missing 2 guys, so it just is what it is. We'll clean up a few things. We got Wheeling next week.
Now we got a chance to talk to Coach Roque before the game, and he was really looking forward to another opportunity to take on this Wheeling Miners team, a team that has beaten you twice this year. What do you have to add to that with how much this team is looking forward to that game and a chance to play in another championship with a win?
I mean, their head coach came in right from the jump. I got a lot of respect for him. He's been in the pro arena game for like 30 years, it feels like, knows everybody. And he said there's a new sheriff in town. And so far, they proved that. We're going to try to prove them wrong next week, point blank.
And here in tonight's game, obviously, big win for you guys all season long here at home. There have been ups and downs, but how do you feel about how this team has progressed from the beginning of the season? So many changes, and here at home, a statement win ends the season. You have to love seeing that.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been crazy ups and downs bringing in players. We guys leave to go to different teams. And last year we had almost 0 roster turnover. I think we added 2 players, and 1 guy got hurt the whole year. Obviously, when your franchise quarterback goes down in the first game, and it's not going to be an easy recovery. It's not like he sprained his toe or something like that. It's a pretty serious injury. So we've just been trying to figure out the right pieces, and I feel like we're clicking at a better level. We're not quite where we need to be yet, but we're almost there.
Now I'm going to give you the final word, Coach K, but before I do, I wouldn't want to be an up man on a special teams unit facing you. You have kicked some line drives at the front line of that return team, but that's just a note from me from so far this year. Obviously, it's been a pleasure talking to you all season long. This might be the first time I've wrapped up with you here on the postgame. I think we've had Dave and Nick do many of them, but Coach K, it's your wrap-up. Final word goes to you.
Yeah, I just said I'm constantly arguing with AJ and the other coaches. We've got to turn this kickoff return into a weapon. Like I read down on my notes, let the motherfucker go. And it's like, if you want to win when you're at the gambling table, you got to take risks. And that's what I'm all about. I want to get the ball times. We literally had them at like the 1 yard line at one point. And that's all written. About working out kickoff, who's good on kickoff return, and I feel like I got my group going into Wheeling. That's going to make the biggest impact on the season so far.
Well, apparently we took a risk airing this live. Coach K, thanks for joining us. This is Coach K's post-game wrap-up. Nick, back up to you.
All right, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Coach K, for that post-game show. But Joe's going to be now joined on the field by Shay Davis.
All right, I'm joined down on field level by Shay Davis. And Shay, first of all, great job all season with the national anthem. We thought we had you one final time here tonight, but we was complimenting your singing, and you got us a copyright strike.
Really?
Your original rendition got us a copyright strike, but great job there all season long. Even better job by this defensive unit tonight. How can you speak to that?
Hey, man, I love the team. I love the defense. Shout out to the D-line. We put pressure on the quarterback, and it made it easier for the DBs to make their plays. Everybody stepped up to the plate, and we scored on defense. That's what we're supposed to do.
Next week, tough matchup against the Wheeling Miners, a team that has been very explosive offensively this year.
Yeah.
Here at home, you were able to slow them down. What do you have to do next week to make sure that your offense has a chance to take a game on the road in Wheeling in the playoffs?
We're going to play aggressive, we're going to play smart, and we're going to get to it, man. We want everybody to get to the ball as defense, you feel what I'm saying? We just want to make plays, make good times, and that's it.
All season long last year, we talked about the offense and their explosive plays. All year this season, it's been about the defense. As the season has gone, you guys have gotten better and better, and the team loves you over my right shoulder. What can you say about the bond with the rest of your unit on defense and about the bond between you and your teammates? Seems like a really fun bunch to be around.
Yeah, man, I love my guys. Over the year, we grow together, we bleed together. You feel what I'm saying? So we're going to finish it out. We're going to ball out, man. They're calling me, but I love y'all. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my kids. Shout out to the Bearcats, baby.
All right, thank you, Shea Davis. Nick.
All right, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Shea Davis, who was getting a little bit of encouragement from his team as they are taking a celebratory team photo out on the sideline. Trying to see if Joe will get one more interview before we wrap it up here on the PDF Sports Network. I think he is making his way back over toward the commentary desk, and he is. So Joe will join me in just one moment. A 40-0 win for the Bearcats here tonight. They now move on to West Virginia to take on the Wheeling Miners next week in the semifinals with a trip in the championship game on the line. Jersey will be the final time they play host here in Roselle, but now they will have to go to West Virginia to make sure that they get a championship berth on the line. Just moments, I'll be joined by Joe Foreman back here on the headset. Joe was able to get words with Coach K as well as Shea Davis to end our broadcast here in the
We
postgame.
had some words from Coach K, all right, some colorful words that we'll have to edit out of the broadcast.
I didn't hear them, Joe, so whatever.
Tyler sure did.
I'm sure he did.
But he was fired up, and he should be, given
As
the
he
way
should.
his team played tonight. The special teams unit has been on point all season long, and here this evening they delivered yet another 2 onside kick attempts in this game. There may have been a third in there. He said one was not intentional. Either way, the special teams unit, not something to be overlooked for this Jersey Bearcats squad, but we got a chance to talk to Shea Davis as well. His teammates very much love him, as we can hear.
They were trying to get the team photo, and they were encouraging him on to get inside the photo.
All right. So the Bearcats offense puts up 40. The defense pitches a shutout. Nick, final thoughts as we sign off from Waranenko for the final time this season.
Very impressive performance from the Bearcats here tonight against a team that they beat in the championship game last season, and they barely held on earlier on this year. They made a huge statement on both sides of the football. Their offense was at points, had a rough patch, but they picked it up as the game went along, and we mentioned it earlier. They could fix those mistakes that they had in the first half in this week of practice before they head on to West Virginia to take on the Wheeling Miners. But if their defense keeps playing the way that they have been playing, Joe, they will have a great chance to pull off what a lot of people may consider to be an upset over that Wheeling Miners team next week.
I think given what we've seen so far this year, it certainly would be considered an upset, and I think that's fair to say, but we've seen a lot of reasons to believe that this Bearcats team can pull it off and earn a berth in their second consecutive AAL2 Championship Bowl. But until next season from Waranenko, my name is Joe Foreman. My broadcast partner is Nicholas Pavona. Our engineer is Tyler Clark, and our camera operator is Pat Gilorenzo. Thank you also to my partner here at PDF, David Pizzuto, who helped get the Bearcats on our radar and put us on their radar, giving us the chance to do this. Aaron Cohen and Nick Durst joining me here on the air all season long as well. They have been instrumental to this operation, and we have to make sure that we shout them out one final time before the season comes to a conclusion. But also, Sal Cuccio on camera as well. He did do camera. Want to make sure we get everybody who helped us out this year. I don't think we've used that large of a crew in terms of different individuals.
So. I don't think so.
Hopefully, I didn't forget anybody.
We are coming up on our 2-year anniversary as well, too. So
big celebration at the Brownstone. Now, I'm really tempted to throw out the date so that there's a line outside of people waiting to meet us. But
our aspiring fans.
Something tells me that there won't be too much of a crowd there to see the PDF crew. However, I should note that PDF is celebrating its 2-year anniversary coming up soon, and we do have our upcoming broadcast, so we'll share that as well as we sign off one final time. I'm back on the air tomorrow, so let's make sure we have our most up-to-date graphic, and we'll show you what's coming up here on the PDF Sports Network. That is not the updated version, so don't put that on the screen. Or you can. Thanks, Tyler. I am covering the WPSL tomorrow. That's okay. You can see our full portfolio of events. The updated graphic was actually in the folder, but we did cover the Big East Football Championship last weekend. You can check that out over on our YouTube channel at PDF Sportsnet, along with today's playoff game, WPSL Soccer tomorrow. I am in Florham Park, New Jersey, as STA takes on Brooklyn City FC. That game takes place tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'll see you back here on PDF Sports Network then. Thank you, everyone who has tuned in all season long, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.